Get in pole position for cheaper van insurance with mustard.co.uk. With top insurance providers, a 5-minute pit stop with us could get you out in front in the race to savings. See what you could save and compare your van insurance today with mustard.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast with Lookers Audi. Don't miss their Take Charge event between the 25th and 29th of April. It's game day, and this is the home of Scottish football. It's Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Good afternoon and welcome to Clyde One Super Scoreboard for the second of two Scottish Cup semi-finals. Rangers take on Hearts at the National Stadium with Philippe Clement's side aiming to bounce back from a disappointing week. The Jambos have aims of their own, looking to make a fourth final in 6 seasons, and whoever wins will meet Celtic after the most dramatic of penalty shootout wins against Aberdeen yesterday. I'm Gordon Duncan, and joining me once again, Gordon Dalziel, Mark Wilson and Hugh Keevins.
Yesterday's semi-final between Aberdeen and Celtic was entertainment on an almost surreal level. A contender for the greatest Scottish Cup tie ever played. Today's semi-final amounts to drama on a more serious level. Rangers have infuriated their own supporters with bad performances and drop points against Ross County and Dundee. 3 bad games in a row historically adds up to a crisis at Ibrox. But if Rangers beat Hearts today, they get them to keep. 4 games between the clubs this season, quadruple wins for Rangers. However, our football has taken on an unpredictable look. Could Hearts continue the trend and beat Rangers? No.
Oh, yesterday was simply incredible, and I think we're in store for another cracker this afternoon. Second v third in the Premiership in this semi-final, going for a place in the final against Celtic. Both teams will do their best to try and entertain, but they won't care if it's entertaining as long as they get through to the final on May 25th against Celtic.
Looking forward to it. You can't say anything else after the excitement we got yesterday. Nearly 3 hours of drama at Hampden. Will we get the same today? I don't really know, thanks Andrew, but I'm certainly looking forward to this afternoon's game.
Yes, if yesterday is anything to go by, even a fraction of that drama and excitement, we are in for a treat this afternoon. So sit back and enjoy. It's a much more miserable afternoon than it was yesterday, so get Clyde One Super Scoreboard in your ears and stay in touch all afternoon at Clyde SSB. I will give you the nod when it's good to phone us on the usual number as well. But without further ado, let's go straight to the National Stadium, because some huge team news coming out of Hampden with Andrew Maclean.
Yeah, there is some massive team news on a day where, you mentioned it, the weather is a bit more miserable than it was yesterday. It has been a miserable week for Rangers as well, hasn't it? Losing to Ross County, dropping points to Dundee, putting Celtic in the driving seat for the title, and also fans questioning some of the things Philippe Clement has been saying in the media as well. A defeat here today and they risk the wheels completely falling off, but could a win spark a return to league form with just those 5 post-split games left to go, up against the Hearts team who have amazingly never beaten Rangers here at Hampden. However, they will take confidence from the fact that they've won 7 of their last 8 Scottish Cup semi-finals. To that big team news, and it's Connor Goldson who drops out of the starting lineup for Rangers. He has been such a consistent presence in that Rangers team for a long time now, but Philippe Clement has made the decision to drop him from the starting lineup today. Tom Lawrence, Fabio Silva and Kemar Roof all drop out as well. In come Balogun, Diamande, Matondo and Dessers. So it'll be Jack Butland in goal. The back 4, James Tavernier, John Souttar, Leon Balogun and Dujon Sterling. The 2 holding midfielders, John Lundstrom and Mohamed Diamande. Abdallah Sima, Todd Cantwell and Rabbi Matondo. In behind the lone striker today, who is Cyril Dessers. The substitutes: McCrory, Goldson, Silva, Lawrence, Dowell, Roof, Barisic, Raskin and McCausland. 3 changes for Hearts: Cochrane, Oda and Mackay out of the starting lineup. Kingsley, Forrest and Vargas come in. So Craig Gordon retains his place between the sticks for the Tynecastle side. The back four: Nathaniel Atkinson, Frankie Kent, Kai Rolls and Stephen Kingsley. The three in midfield: Cammy Devlin, Benny Meningamy and George Grant, with Kenny Vargas and Alan Forrest either side of Lawrence Shanklin. The substitutes: Clark, Oda, Mackay, Cochrane, Denholm, Tate, Fraser, Tagawa and Lembikisa. The referee here at the National Stadium is Stephen Maclean, and the VAR is Willie Collum.
Hugh Keevins, how do you look beyond the dropping of Connor Goldson, because that's what this is? He's pretty much played every single meaningful game since joining the club way back in 2018. He very rarely misses out. If he does, it's because he's injured or maybe he's been rested. But this is a straight up dropped from the team, isn't it?
Since Rangers imploded in Dingwall, the Super Scoreboard jury on a nightly basis has blamed Goldson. And the Rangers fans, I don't think, will be unhappy that he's not there. I only wonder, since he's not on the bench either, I wonder if he's injured. And
no, he is on the bench, I think, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's on the bench. No,
he is on the bench.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. This is a proper. This is a dropping. Yeah, there's no other way of describing it.
In that way, then he's been binned. But I go back to the Rangers supporters who look at the club, who have been infuriated, as I said, by the displays and results against Dundee and Ross County, and they blamed, among others, Connor Goldson, and he today is the fall guy.
Mark, that's what. Look, players get dropped from teams. That's not earth-shattering news, but when it's this player and it's so rare, that's why it becomes such a big talking point. You even go through the entirety of this season. You know, he was really the other times he's been out the team, he's been rested, really, because you look at maybe another big game round the corner, or there's been an injury or a suspension or whatever. He plays all the time, and he's been at the club for almost 6 years. So it's massive to see him not named in a game of this magnitude.
Oh, without a doubt. I think it was going to be a big story either way. Had he played, it was going to be a lot of pressure on Goldson's shoulders and the manager's shoulders because of his poor performances in recent weeks. But overall, this season, and I mentioned yesterday, it's going to be a big call for Clement, and it'll show you the type of manager he is. If he just rolls with it and keeps rolling on with the same team, or is he a statement manager who reacts to what he's seen in front of him? He's shown today with his team selection, he is reacting to what he's seen in recent weeks. It's a big call. I think it's the right call at this minute. I would think a lot of Rangers fans would think the same. So it's a big day for the Rangers manager, big day for the Rangers players, and he's made the first big call right away. Because
the priority today, Gordon, is to put a team out that's your best team. It's your best chance of winning. That's clearly why Philippe Clement's done it. But it's huge, as Mark said. It's a big call, it's a big statement. So how does it work today? What does it look like going forward as well? It's potentially a really big moment. Yeah, and you look at as much as I don't think Rangers were that poor, but they weren't that good on Wednesday night at Dens. It was a clean sheet for the back four. I said yesterday that I thought if Balogun was fit, he'd bring Suter in the right hand side. I think that gives Tavernier a bit of cover, who likes to go up the pitch. You know, he plays very high. Balogun's got good pace about him. I'm not surprised with it, Gordon. I've got to say, Golson's come in for an incredible amount of stick recently, and I think it's just a case of the manager deciding to take him out the firing line. Philippe Clement is looking after Philippe Clement today, because the Rangers fans are not happy. I can give you personal testimony to this, because on a rainy Sunday morning, I took myself into the ticket office at my local railway station and met a room full of people buying tickets from Mount Florida going to the game, and I was assured of two things. Aberdeen lay down to Celtic yesterday, and even though they scored 3 times. Yes, okay. Aberdeen lay down to Celtic yesterday, and Philippe Clement will be in trouble if Rangers have a third bad performance today. Why'd you get into the ticket office, not just buy it on the app on your phone? Never mind. No. A what? The other thing, Gordon DL, though, it's not the only change. It's the headline one. The guy who benefits, the guy who comes into the team, is Leon Balogun. Rangers fans have been calling for him to come back into the team. He's not started a game since the 3rd of February. He came on very late on in that Celtic game, you'll remember, to try and shore things up, or to kind of add an extra physical presence. He's been ill, I believe, but he's not started a match since the 3rd of February.
Yeah, it's been a long time, but I think the manager likes him, puts a lot of trust in him. I think he gives him that bit of pace as well. And I like Balogun the way that he comes out from the back. He likes to come and get into the middle of the park and try and make things happen. I've got to say, watching Golson lately, and let's not just look at Golson individually, there have been a lot of those players underperformed. You know, you look at Tom Lawrence was a big favourite, and people were saying, well, we play him before Cantwell. Showed today semi-final, the manager thinks different. Ruth has been left out for Dessers. He's been coming under pressure as well from the Rangers fans. It's a big day for a lot of them.
Does the pressure almost then go on Leon Balogun in a way, Mark, to prove that it's the right decision? I must say, having looked it up, this would have surprised me. If you'd asked me off the top of my head, how many games has Leon Balogun played for Rangers in 2024, this calendar year?
Not many.
3.
Yeah.
1.
15 overall.
He came off after 22 minutes against Livy, and he came on with a minute to go against Celtic, and then a full 90 with Livy against Livy sandwiched in between. That is his lot in this since the turn of the year.
Not a lot, and not a lot this season overall as well. It kind of shows you the extent of the problem, though, that the Rangers manager thinks he has at central defence. If you are then opting for someone who has had minimal football this year, who's sat on the bench and been ill last week, then it goes to show you what he thinks of Connor Golson at this minute in time. That's why it's such a big call. Yes, of course the pressure then shifts on Balogun's shoulders, but he's an experienced Rangers player. He's had quite an interesting career in terms of being at Rangers, being allowed to leave, and then coming back as almost just a kind of backup player, but finding himself now in such an important position for the team, going through such an important period for them. So big pressure, but those round about him as well got to respond in the right way, because it isn't just Golson, should I say, it's been culpable over recent weeks. Tavernier to the right hand side, how will he respond to having a different personnel inside him? You know, whether that be Suter or if it is Balogun, I think it will be Suter plays there. Will that look better? Left back Sterling,
will it suit John Suter better?
Will it suit John Suter better? Of course. So the whole dynamics to the team changes with Golson out it, because he's been such a permanent fixture. That's why this is going to be an interesting 90 minutes ahead.
But Hugh, the focus is on Connor Golson because he's Connor Golson and because he plays every game. But as Gordon quite rightly points out, there has to be an onus on Rangers match winners. It was 0-0, to state the obvious, the other night. It was a clean sheet, but the bad bit really about the other night was going forward. So Kemar Roof's paid the price, and Cyril Dessers comes in for all the massive price tag. Fabio Silva doesn't seem to be cutting it in the eyes of the Rangers fans at the moment. So I suppose the onus really is on Rabbi Matondo and Cyril Dessers to score the goals that fire Rangers through.
The gloves are off today for everyone. As I say, my companions in the ticket office this morning assured me that this rot began with losing to Motherwell at Ibrox, where it was clear that things were not gelling, and since then the 3-3 draw with Celtic, which Philippe Clement foolishly described as a moral victory, and then followed it up with what was certainly a victory for Ross County, and the performance at Dens Park, which again Philippe Clement tried to dress up as something else. So the gloves are off for everyone. For those who couldn't score at Dens Park and who have paid the price, those who come in are on trial as well. This is a game that Rangers must not lose, and as I say, I think that they're fortunate in that they have a Hearts side who have some kind of psychological block when it comes to Rangers. 1 Viaplay Cup tie, 3 league games, 4 defeats for Hearts.
Philippe Clement has the chance to obliterate this entire discussion by coming out with a microphone in front of his face and saying Connor Goldson's not feeling well and he's only fit enough for the bench. Maybe he will, but if we take it at face value at the moment, Mark, it's quite hard to kind of fact check these things, but as far as I can see, genuinely don't think he's ever been dropped due to form ever in the time at the club. You know, the games he's missed, he's either been injured, suspended, or they've been, you know, lower league opponents in the cup, that sort of thing. I can't really find any other, and there might be 1 or 2 over the period, but I genuinely think this could be the first.
Yeah, and let's be honest, that's down to Connor Golson being such a good servant for Rangers over the years. You think of the amount of big football matches he's taken part in on merit, but I think it was last week, I said everybody's got their shelf life at a club, and when you go so long, is it 6 years he's been at the club, did you say there? You know, sometimes things just catch up with you. Sometimes a club moves in a different direction. Sometimes things just go stale. And for Connor Goldson, it's beginning to look like that this season in particular. And the manager in charge at that period of your career has to make a big decision to move in the other direction. Now, Philip Clement has opted then to go for Balogun, somebody who's been there, tried and trusted, a 35-year-old, so has plenty of experience. But it's interesting what it means for next year. Do Rangers go in for someone in the next window to be a centre half for the next 5 years to replace Connor Goldson?
Clement is an unforgiving man. You know, we go back to the Cantwell substitution in the first half at Ibrox because he wasn't doing what he was told. Off. Doesn't matter whether it's the first half or not. And clearly he has had enough of some players in the team, as I say, starting with Motherwell, then the Celtic game, Ross County, Dundee. He's had enough with some of them, and that's the way it is with Clement.
On the flip side, Gordon, let's look at Hearts starting 11. There is a big call, a headline up to a point, but we kind of knew it was coming. Craig Gordon is the Scottish Cup goalkeeper for Hearts, and they've actually taken it a step further this time. They played him in the league last weekend against Livingston to make sure that he was ready to become the Cup goalkeeper again. So no real dramas there, no real surprise, but still perhaps an extra focus to see how that pans out.
Yeah, big day for him. I wasn't surprised. I thought that was good management last week. Hearts really didn't have a lot to play for. Their cement at third place. It was against Livingston, who can't buy a win. Give him a bit of game time. He made a mistake for the first goal, so it gives him another 90 minutes under his belt before a semi-final. I look at that Hearts team. There's some good players in that Hearts team. I said yesterday about Aberdeen as well. The only thing I said about Aberdeen was they were underachievers. I don't think you can label that at Hearts. I think they've been good running for them, and you always depend on guys that can score goals, and Hearts have got one of the best in the business. And another player that's really caught my eye is Vargas. I think he's been terrific, I really do. And if they can get the service there today with Forrest as well, they could be a handful.
No such thing as a one-man team, etc, etc, Mark Wilson. But how can you look beyond Lawrence Shankland, who has 28 goals for Hearts this season? Now that we're in awards season, he will possibly / probably be the player of the season in Scotland, and he will be up against a different centre-back pairing today, and there's this small matter of the Euros round the corner as well.
Well, it's my opinion he will be player of the year, so you've got to look upon that as someone who will carry a threat no matter what today. He could be quiet for an hour, hardly touch the ball, but one thing he's got is that instinct to find the back of the net. Now that could be from a cutback and a 6-yard tap in, or equally it could be from a 25-yard, nothing happening and he puts it in the top corner. That's the variety Lawrence Shankland's got in his game. That's why, in my opinion, he will be player of the year, and he will go to the Euros.
Can I just say, he was the most talked about player in the country the last time Rangers played Hearts at Ibrox. Final score, Rangers 5, Hearts 0.
Yeah, but we said this yesterday though, whether Rangers have had a bad week or not, none of that is going to change the fact Rangers are big favourites for this game. We bang on about budgets and all that stuff when it suits us in Europe. Rangers would need to be in an inexplicably bad place to still not be big favourites going into this.
Yeah, well, look at Aberdeen 0, Celtic 6. Was it early on in the season, or 6-0 Celtic at Celtic Park? Yeah,
and then 3 each yesterday.
Yeah, 3 each yesterday. There is always a threat when it comes to knockout cup football and a neutral venue. There's always a threat, particularly when you've got a guy like Shankland.
Having said that, Hugh is on the right track, Gordon, in terms of Hearts not wanting to let this one sort of pass them by. It's been such a mixed bag, so it's hard to know which one you get. The 5-0, disastrous, but let's not be selective, because there was the other game that they were leading going into the last couple of minutes and really should have won that one. And the one apparently that, speaking to Stephen Naismith and Lawrence Shankland during the week, the one that really does annoy them is the League Cup game earlier in the season at Hampden, where 3-1 Rangers, it was a late penalty from Lawrence Shankland, and they feel that was the one that passed them by a bit.
Yeah, and they don't want to be the same today, Gordon. I think that the Hearts camp will look at this, especially after the last 2 games with Rangers, the criticism that they've come under. and think this is a real opportunity. But it's alright saying that, it's cup football. We've seen that yesterday with Aberdeen. Their league campaign is terrible, but it was so exciting. They could have eventually found themselves in a final, only for the fact of penalty kicks. And congratulations to Celtic. Hearts will look at this today. Now, as I said, they've got good experience, they've got good players, and they've got a goal scorer that is probably the best in the business just now. So all adds up for Hearts, but when you get to the big occasion, it's how you handle it today. Rangers will know how to handle this today at Hampden semi-final, but can Hearts step up to the plate? I think we're in for a terrific afternoon.
And ultimately, Mark, as boring as this is, they still need Rangers to be off it a bit. That's just the reality of it. They need to hope that the form from the last couple of games continues to an extent.
Yeah, without doubt. Celtic or Rangers need to be a bit off their full tempo, and Hearts really need to be at it to win this game. That is the reality where we sit in Scotland at the minute. The gap between the players is that great. Celtic and Rangers players to the rest. Take away Shankland, possibly, but that is the reality. So if Rangers are off it in any respect and Hearts are right at it, then Rangers will be in trouble. Equally, if Rangers start bright, much like we were saying about Celtic yesterday, if they start bright, if they start quick, if they impose themselves in the game, then it could be another tough afternoon for Hearts.
Okay, it's all set at the National Stadium. We've given you the team news, we've had a good look at the big talking points, and when we return we'll take a look back at yesterday, because there is quite a lot to get through. And now a word from our podcast sponsor, Lookers Motor Group. They have Jaguar, Land Rover and Volvo showrooms across Glasgow and the West, so you can find the new or used approved car that is right for you. Land Rover showrooms can be found in Motherwell and Darnley, and Jaguar, Volvo and Land Rover showrooms found in Hillington. Right now at lookers.co.uk you can browse and shop 24/7, value your part exchange, order and take delivery from the comfort of your own home. Check out lookers.co.uk to get your new or used approved Land Rover, Jaguar or Volvo today, or even pop into the showroom local to you. Now, back to the podcast.
This is no ordinary cross. It's the power to choose your leaders, shape your communities, and decide your future. This is no ordinary cross. It's your influence and your voice. The Mayor of London and London Assembly elections are on Thursday the 2nd of May. Pencil in the date, bring your photo ID, and make your mark. The power is in your hand. Find out more at londonelects.org.uk.
Hi, it's Tim Burgess with a special announcement about my listening party on Absolute Radio. So far, we've heard stories behind classic records by New Order, U2, The Kinks, Def Leppard, Catatonia, Tis Fears, Simple Minds, The, and a great band called The Charlatans. I swear I didn't write this. Well, I'm really pleased to say that I'll be back with new episodes and new listening parties. So search Tim's Listening Party wherever you get your podcasts. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for season 4 and more stories behind iconic albums.
Action as it happens, and your reaction from 5 on the open line. This is Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard.
Hugh Keevins, Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel in the warmth of Clyde 1 HQ at Hampden. Andrew Maclean is keeping us up to speed on the build-up to the big game between Rangers and Hearts in the Scottish Cup semi-final. Big team news, if you've not heard it yet: no Connor Goldson in the starting 11. He's been dropped by Philippe Clement for today's game. One of a number of changes which sees the likes of Cyril Dessers and Rabbi Matondo return to the starting 11. Craig Gordon starts in goal for Hearts, and of course Lawrence Shankland leading the line. What's at stake today is a place in the final where the winner will meet Celtic after a day, Hugh Keevins, that will live long in the memory.
Well, I've already gone on the record now as saying it may be the greatest Scottish Cup tie ever played. Where do you begin? Entertainment, 100%. Eccentricity, 100%. Bizarre, 100%. Whoever saw a goalkeeper fall down with cramp during a penalty shootout? Whoever saw a goalkeeper miss a penalty and then save the penalty that puts his team into the final? It was chaotic. It was absorbing, compelling. It was everything you want from a football match. There were good goals. There was horrendous defending, mainly from Celtic. And it was all the fun of the fair. Aberdeen deserve immense credit. They came down from Glasgow, more or less rejected by a lot of their supporters. Only 8,000 tickets sold, and you can understand why. Bottom 6, on to the third manager of the season, but they were terrific, and Celtic got by the skin of their teeth. But oh my, what a day.
You've possibly been kind leaving Angus MacDonald out of the horrific defending, but he did pop up with a crucial goal. Mark, it just had everything, didn't it? It was incredible.
Well, Hugh describes it perfectly well there. I mean, it just had a bit of everything, even up until the moment that we thought Aberdeen had a penalty to equalise, to make it 3 each, and no one knew what was going on. And then the free kicks awarded.
You called it.
Yeah, but the broadcaster, they were all over the place. They didn't show any wide shot that we could all understand. So you saw Carter Vickers with his head in his hands, and you thought that is a penalty, only for Aberdeen to go over that disappointment and then score an equaliser. You're right, mentioning Angus MacDonald had a horrible afternoon, but then steps up to score the equaliser. He put away a penalty as well, didn't he? So, well done to him for that. But just an incredible game. And I said yesterday, the players should take all credit, because semi-finals, having been there tense occasions, you don't want to really make a mistake. It's usually played a bit of a tactical battle. I thought yesterday was the opposite. I thought the players gave everything and ran their hearts out.
All anyone's ever really aiming to achieve on a day like yesterday, Gordon, is to wake up today and know that you're the one that's in the final, and then the rest is a lot less important. But my goodness, that doesn't excuse the fact that we went on quite a journey to get there.
Yeah, it started at 12:30 and I think it finished about 3:30 or something. We were all knackered in here talking about it. I don't know how the players felt after being involved in it, but I've got to say, the quality for me, the quality not just of the game, the excitement, the quality of the goals were brilliant. If you go and analyse them, I sat and watched them last night again, and especially 5 goals from Aberdeen and Celtic, the movement, the passing, the finishing, everything to do with it was absolutely brilliant. That game had everything. And then for a neutral to go to penalty kicks is the most exciting ever.
I mean, I don't know, we'll go through them one by one. We might need to do it quite quickly. The first goal, which is very early, that's a real surprise at that moment in time. Where's the balance between Celtic need to defend that better, and hats off for a very tidy piece of play from Aberdeen?
Look, for me, Gordon, at the time I said Cameron Carter Vickers could have been a yard over his left to intercept that pass. Having then watched it over and over again, I need to give full credit to the pass, because when you look at Carter Vickers and Scales, they are 2 yards apart. 2 yards apart. And Clarkson's weight of pass, direction has to be spot on. You also have to get the run in behind from Miovski. I think it's a brilliantly constructed goal, and sometimes you just got to take your hat off to that. So I thought it was a great opening. I thought it was always going to be important who scored the first goal. If Celtic had scored the first goal against an Aberdeen team who have been struggling this season, then I don't think we would have got the spectacle we got. But Aberdeen scored it opens up, and it was a fantastic start.
And then Hugh, he kind of, as well as Aberdeen did, and the plaudits that we'll give them in a second for the way that they rallied late, you probably know that you can't gift Celtic goals in games like that and expect to win, and unfortunately that was the case for Angus MacDonald with equaliser.
The day was full of twists of fate. Angus MacDonald is made captain for the day because Shinnie is suspended and can play no part, and then he gets caught. He dillies, he dallies, and he falls to the ground. Kyogo cannot get his feet organised to take the chance that he has made for himself by getting the ball off MacDonald, but Kuhn is there to tidy up, and he equalises. So Celtic caught cold and then began to get hot.
Yeah, as Hugh says, so many twists and turns. When Celtic are looking for a game changer, they turn to James Forrest, a man who has scored loads of goals at Hampden, loads of goals against Aberdeen. It was such an immediate impact as well, wasn't it, from him?
I thought it was a great decision from Brendan Rodgers, because he's got players like Palmer, who I thought everybody maybe would look and think, well, he's the one that's got to come on and try and turn the game. I detest people that write off experienced players.
Detest them? Strong.
I think in this country we've got a terrible
strong early doors.
We've got a terrible habit of that. The minute they go on the bench, and it'll be like Golson. People have seen Golson drop today and go, oh, that's unfinished. It's not, right? Sometimes you go through bad times and off form, but going on to yesterday, Forrest comes on James Forrest knows how to turn football games. He knows how to win football games. He knows how to win trophies. He was absolutely brilliant when he came on. Great cut in from the left-hand side. He's only thinking of one thing. He's not great pace on it. Okay, we can look at the defence there, but it's a terrific finish for him, and I'm delighted because I think he adds so much to Celtic as, you know, coming off that bench and performing the way he does.
Now this is where everybody's expecting Celtic to get over the line for the first time, and we'll deal with the second time in a second, Mark. But great character Aberdeen. How much does Celtic need to manage the game better and defend better at that point?
Oh, without doubt. And I think when you bring on fresh legs, it's for those moments where you are not so much hanging on, but just to see out the closing stages. So when Palma gets that ball and he should take a touch, or he should do much better, he swipes at it, no composure, gives the ball away. Now when it goes to wide area, Alistair Johnson, maybe heavy legged, didn't get out quick enough to Hoyle it. Again, I've got to give credit to Hoyle, because being in that position, 89 minutes on the clock, to dig that out to the back post, it was a fantastic cross and a good finish.
There's another twist of fate. Hoylett has the easiest
the
chance of all and blows it by taking a horrendous touch and then putting the ball into the side netting. So everywhere you turned, there was a twist of fate.
I'll speed it up because there's so many. Matt O'Reilly put Celtic back in front. Good finish
goal
from him. Very good goal.
Yeah.
Now you're really expecting Celtic to see it out, because it's their second time of taking the initiative, and up pop Aberdeen again, but only after what would be the most controversial moment in the game. Now it doesn't mean it's not a talking point. I suppose fortunately it doesn't have that devastating impact on the result, because Aberdeen go and score seconds after and send us to penalties anyway. However, the penalty incident, and I think a lot of confusion, and I'm still seeing a lot of analysis on, did Carter Vickers foul Junior Hoylett, when actually that's a bit of a moot point. Don Robertson sees what he thinks is a foul on Alistair Johnson by Junior Hoylett. Now there is obviously an intrigue there as to, well, why did he wait so long to blow the whistle? Only Don Robertson can answer that, but that is the crux of it. He points, as Mark Wilson says. The problem is it looks like he points to the penalty spot, but he points then the other way. He's given the foul. It's then over to VAR essentially to assess, did he make an error there? Was that a clear and obvious error? Was that not a foul, and should a penalty be given? I feel like I'm still seeing this reported that VAR decided that it wasn't a foul by Carter Vickers, which is not the case. But the bit that is frustrating people, Gordon, why did he take so long to blow the whistle? And was it a foul on Alistair Johnson? I mean, I'll show you again. You all can watch it right in front of us. In isolation, is this a foul on Alistair Johnson? I mean, this is radio, so
no, absolutely not.
I'm with you. I think he's every right to go and attack that ball. I think that Alistair Johnson makes the most of it, I've got to be honest, but I would be disappointed if that was given against me. That's only my humble opinion.
I think that's a foul. I think, I'm not saying it as a Celtic minded voice in the show, I'm not saying it even as a fullback. I think if that's anywhere else in the pitch and someone goes right into the back of you and you go down, if that's a striker,
you don't think that's given in the centre circle?
No.
That is madness, in my opinion. That is a foul anywhere on the pitch.
Gordon Dale detests people who say that his points are madness.
You know what I mean? Just I don't say your points are madness. Just
you're allowed to know.
Points. Fine. No,
fight if you want.
I'm not that rude.
But, okay, what you said? Alistair Johnson made the most of that there.
I don't.
Alistair Johnson is mid-air. You can clearly see his body going one way when Hoylett goes into his shoulders.
Keep talking. You've got another gig in Celtic TV shortly.
Do you think that Alistair Johnson, your words, made the most of that thinking? I'm going to contort my body to make the most of this mid-air.
Listen, I think that he goes for a ball, to the missable, right? To the missable. I don't think that's enough to give a free kick. Listen, my opinion.
There's another twist of fate.
Here's the other frustrating bit. I know people hate this bit of VAR, and you almost think, well, bin this bit because what's the point? But once he has given it, then is that ever going to get overturned? Do you know what I mean? He gives the free kick initially, so the kind of bar becomes different, if you like.
Yeah, well, obviously it didn't get overturned. If it plays on, and I think this is where everybody, it's a certain penalty kick. I think everybody will agree with that.
Surely no one's disagreeing.
The big decision is, and we've all got different opinions, and people out there listening all have different opinions. I just don't think that's enough for to give a foul.
But you can't. The point I think you were making, I don't think that's a clear and obvious. Well, look, we're splitting this studio over it. So is it clear and obvious? Don Robertson obviously thought it was at the time, and gave the foul. So he's never going to then overturn it.
The great thing is it didn't waste the spectacle of the game
because Aberdeen won't score. So that they like the injustice as such is not. Yeah. It's not that it's not there, but it's short-lived.
Well, that's the other twist of fate. The man Brendan Rodgers called incompetent a month ago gave the foul. He might have been slow with the whistle. As you said earlier on, he'll have to explain himself over that one. But everywhere you turned, twists of fate.
Plenty of drama. Can we even get a fraction of the drama and excitement at Hampden today? We'll go back there next.
The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Hampden Park is the destination. 15 minutes to go. Andrew Maclean is there. What's the latest from the National Stadium?
Yeah, filling up nicely. It is a 50-50 split, of course, today in the ticket allocation, so should be a good atmosphere. Not all the seats filled yet, but it is getting there. Rangers fans, about 21,000 of them, over to my left, over to my right. There won't be as many Hearts fans. I don't think they've sold out their full allocation. Hearts will have to foot the bill for that, but they are close to that 21,000 number as well. Just hearing some comments as well from Philip Clement. Obviously the big team news ahead of this one was Connor Goldson being dropped to the bench for the game. Philip Clement asked about that before this match. He says Connor's played a lot of games in the last couple of months, a lot of minutes, did a lot of really good things, and that's why we're the best defence in the league, but he was also lacking some freshness. I had this plan on Wednesday, but Leon Balogun became sick at the last minute, so it's more important to gain freshness again. So Philip Clement saying it's not a loss of form, he's saying it's freshness that is the reason that Connor Goldson has dropped out and Leon Balogun has come in for them.
You take a man at his word. I am not. I don't think legally secure enough to call the man a liar.
No.
But if you're going to pick your and I take the point, Balogun was sick, but you don't choose a Scottish Cup semi-final to just allow your main defender, who's never missed a game, to get fresh.
He has anticipated the question. He has had his explanation of him ready, and we cannot question the man because we don't know anything to the contrary. But I think, again, to go back to the Super Scoreboard jury on the telephone lines Monday to Friday, they pinpointed Goldson amongst others. And is it so hard to understand that the manager should say, well, look, I think I'm better off without him on this occasion?
Because that is all well and good, Mark. That probably was the case. That bit sounds absolutely, Philippe Clement would have preferred to rest Connor Goldson on Wednesday for the trip to Dundee, but so that he'd be fresh for this. Yeah. Because this is so big. Oh, this is still big, and Connor Goldson's not playing. It's almost, is it almost a convenience, if you like? Then he was never maybe going to come out and say, "Oh, he's been hopeless, so I've left him out." Yeah,
very rarely do you hear managers say that pre-match, because he could quite easily need Goldson within 10 minutes if Balogun or Suter goes down, so he's got to keep him happy. But I think it's quite clear from everybody's point of view, Goldson's been out of form. Balogun would have played had he been fit on Wednesday night. Had he played well, I would have assumed he would have kept his place anyway. So look, he's used this opportunity. You get games, big games within a season. Celtic are on the calendar, Aberdeen away, probably Hearts away, and then you get your cup games, your games at Hampden. Those are your big marquee games that you want your best team on the pitch, and when you've got your full selection, you pick your best team. For me, Philippe Clement has done that today. It's not about resting players or anything like that. He thinks that this is his best 11 to go and win this game and put them in the final.
It's simple. He's been dropped. Don't fall into this, and I understand why the Rangers manager's doing it. He's out there, he's faced with the TV cameras of press. He doesn't want to show his player under a bus. Oh well, it's a bit of freshness. Rangers fans have come in for Golson, Tavernier and Lundstrom. I said it the other night there. Tavernier's playing, Lundstrom's playing. Golson has not been left out to freshen up the team. Golson's been left out because he's form. Let's be honest. And I think every Rangers supporter listening to us understands that. But I'm quite happy for a Rangers man to go down that line, but I certainly don't buy it.
I'll let you into the inner workings of my brain, places that people should never go when you're trying to think about how you're going to go about the show, how you're going to have these pre-match discussions. You want to stay away from cliches. You don't want to keep going down the same sort of path that you do before every game, but some things are unavoidable. How important is it that Rangers start this game well, specifically on the back of the last three, where Dalziel and Maeda scores after what felt like 2 seconds? Ross County should have scored as early on, and arguably so should Dundee have as well. You know, it seems like that very initial moment or two in the last couple of games have really set the tone for them.
All I can tell you is that Rangers are in the dock today. The manager and every player who starts the game, irrespective of whether they've been in or out of the team of late, the Rangers fans have put the team and the manager in the dock. They are under scrutiny from the first second when the referee blows his whistle. This is a game that Rangers dare not lose, and I repeat, Philippe Clement is looking after Philippe Clement because he knows the flack that would come his way if Rangers were to lose to Hearts today. So he has taken Conor Goldson and removed him because he thinks he could be a danger to me. So that's why he's out.
The first few minutes, Gordon, it feels like we've had an insight into how the afternoon or the evening pans out for Rangers in the last few. Don't get me wrong, look, the Celtic game, clearly they did rally and got what Philippe Clement felt was a moral victory on the day, but those first couple of minutes, they don't seem to come out the traps very quickly at the moment. And
Stephen Naismith will know that as well, Gordon. I think he'll be telling these players, look, it's going to be difficult because you need to get the ball first and foremost. Rangers have got very, very good players indeed, but if Hearts are going to win this semi-final, for me today, they need to get the first goal. They need to get the first goal. Is so important if Hearts have any chance of winning this final. If I was Stephen Naismith, I'd be looking at Rangers lately and I'd be telling my players we're on the front foot and we're going to get after them and put a little bit of pressure on them, because Rangers need to get a result today. Because as much as the Rangers fans love this manager, and I totally understand why, but if you go and all of a sudden the league's slipping away and you're out of the Scottish Cup, pressure mounts.
And yet, Mark, I know Philippe Clement's been keen to say don't take conclusions from just one game, and I know it can be select moments, but the scoring of the first goal wasn't enough in Dingwall. So Rangers have found different ways to make life difficult over the last week or so. Gordon's right generally, and I felt, I think we all watched Dingwall last week where County start quite promising, but Rangers score and you think, oh well, that'll be that, and it was far from it. Yeah,
but I agree with Daz to a certain extent. When your confidence is on a knife edge at the minute, if Hearts have to score first, how do Rangers react to that on the pitch? But look, if Rangers score, there is still a job to be done. When you've got players of the quality of Shanklin, Vargas, Forrest there, can he emulate what his brother did yesterday? Then they're always going to carry a threat. I wonder how Stephen Naismith learns from the other semi-final though, where in the first 45 minutes he sort of sat deep and allowed Rangers a lot of territory, didn't really get going. I wonder if he takes up that tactic that Daz is talking about and goes after Rangers and press them high up the pitch. Now the danger is Rangers have got quality, Cantwell and Lundstrom, who's coming under some fire, but still a good player, still a good passer, and then they've got pace in the wide areas with Matondo and Sima. They may get picked off. It's going to be an interesting tactical battle straight from the off in this one.
Yeah, because that's what we said, Gordon. It feels like sometimes it's the ones that you don't expect. You look at midweek, certainly last week, I don't think many people were predicting Rangers would struggle the way they did in Dingwall. I just feel like I've got random memories of the last few seasons of maybe Rangers struggling a bit, teams like Aberdeen and Hearts feeling like they could be got at here. They come down to Glasgow and it falls apart quite quickly. You still need to find that balance.
Yeah, see, I'm the opposite. I would have, if I was Steve Naismith, I'd rather Rangers probably had a good result up at Ross County, done okay at Dundee, and then had a go at them, because the first thing they'll be saying is we're expecting a reaction. because Rangers have got good players. Their manager is a very strong character. He'll be demanding that, so you know you're going to get something. And that's why I think for Hearts today, and it's easily said in these studios, right, you've got to be in that environment and trust your players. If I was Hearts, I'd be on the front foot and I'd be right into Rangers' faces.
The aim today is very obvious, Hugh. We said it is just get to the cup final. Nothing else really matters. But how crucial a period is this for Philippe Clement? Because we're not just talking results. We're talking about his post-match refusal or non-handshake with Don Cowie, which he later cleared up. We're talking about the differing in opinion with Dujon Sterling, and then calling him inexperienced for it. He's had to make a big decision today. He says it's freshness, but Connor Goldson's not in the team, so I feel like he is coming under a bit more of an intense spotlight than so far. But
he's made the rod for his own back. He started off with the 3-3 draw with Celtic, calling it a moral victory. A patent nonsense. There's no such thing in the game as a moral victory. And then he carried it on with his conduct at Dingwall. I know he then corrected himself, but it was another indication of a man who was wobbling. And then the whole Dundee business, Dujon Sterling was correct and the manager was wrong.
There has been a lot said in the build up to this game, but all the talking is almost done and kick-off is next.
The winning team all season long. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Minutes away from kick-off at Hampden. Who will join Celtic in the Scottish Cup final? Will it be Rangers or will it be Hearts? We're minutes away from beginning to find out. Here's Andrew Maclean.
Yeah, the team's just in the tunnel at the moment, waiting to make their way out at the National Stadium. It'll be James Tavernier wearing the armband for Rangers that will lead them out. Just seeing on the TV screen in front of me a pat on the back from Connor Goldson on James Tavernier on his way past. Connor Goldson, of course, making his way to the substitutes bench, which is not something Rangers fans have seen very often, but as you can hear with the noise ramping up inside this stadium at the moment, both sets of fans making themselves heard as the players walk out hand in hand with the mascots, and Stephen McLean, the referee, carrying the ball as well. The second meeting at the National Stadium this season between these teams. It was James Tavernier with a double that helped Rangers to a 3-1 victory here in the League Cup semi-finals back in December. Rangers have had the much better of the fixtures this season as well between the two. The three league meetings, all victories for Rangers, but it's well documented their loss of form over the last week or so. Is that something this Hearts team will be able to capitalise on? These Rangers players know the criticism that has been thrown their way over the last few days. They'll know they need to respond, but it was exactly the same going into that game away to Dundee on Wednesday. They had to respond in that game and could only come away with a goalless draw. So will they be able to come up with the goods today? Stephen Naismith and his side, they'll hope that they can continue their good season and pile on the misery for their opponents today. Amazing to think as well that Stephen Naismith, he was under real pressure, wasn't he, at the start of this season from some sections of the Hearts support, but now find themselves comfortably third place in the league, heading for European group stage football next season as well, and they are potentially 120 minutes away from a Scottish Cup final as well. The players now just shaking hands, taking off their tracksuit tops as well. A big day for quite a few of those players out there. I'll run you through the starting lineups again. 4 changes for Rangers from that draw against Dundee midweek. Connor Goldson, the standout, the headline, dropping to the bench. Tom Lawrence, Fabio Silva and Kemar Roof also out of the starting lineup. In come Balogun, Diamandi, Matondo and Dessers as well. So Jack Butland continuing in goal for them today. The back four, James Tavernier, John Souttar, Leon Balogun and Dujon Sterling. The two holding midfielders, John Lundstrom and Mohamed Diamandi. Abdallah Sima, Todd Cantwell and Rabi Matondo in behind Cyril Dessers. The substitutes, McCrory, Goldson, Silva, Lawrence, Dowell, Roof, Barisic, Raskin and McCausland. For Hearts, 3 changes for them. Cochrane, Oda and Mackay drop out of the starting lineup. In come Kingsley, Forrest and Vargas. It means Craig Gordon retains his place in goal. As a back four of Nathaniel Atkinson, Frankie Kent, Kai Rolls and Stephen Kingsley. It'll be a midfield 3 of Cammy Devlin, Benny Beningame and George Grant, Kenny Vargas and Alan Forrest either side of Lawrence Shanklin. The substitutes, Clark, Oda, Mackay, Cochrane, Denham, Tate, Fraser, Tagawa and Lembakisa. The referee for this one, Stephen Maclean. The VAR is Willie Coleman. Just looking across the stand at Hampden here, some Scottish Cup branding. It says 150 years of the Scottish Cup, 150 years of unforgettable moments. There were plenty of unforgettable moments in that thrilling match here at the National Stadium yesterday. I wonder what this game has in store. Todd Cantwell has the ball in the centre circle, and we are ready to get underway at Hampden for Rangers against Hearts.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Interested in a career in pharmacy? Apply today to join their team.
Andrew Maclean is right. There were unforgettable moments yesterday. What was forgettable were the predictions from you three in the studio. You were miles off it. I don't hold that against you. Who could have foreseen the outcome yesterday? What about today then? I'll give you a second bite at it.
Rangers 3, Hearts 0.
Wow. Not like you to go big and get it wrong, Mark
I'll
Wilson.
go for 90 minutes 1-1 and Rangers to win it in extra time.
Producer Chris, is this show extended if this goes to extra time?
Absolutely not.
Good,
Yes.
right, okay. Gordon DL.
I'm going to go 2-1 and I fancy an upset.
What's a real split then? We've got Rangers
to
on
win.
one side,
Rangers to win.
Hearts on the other, and a draw, says Mark. Who goes through, sorry, after extra time?
Rangers.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. Well, I'll tell you what. Oh, he's telling me he was joking. This show does get extended if it goes to extra time. Right, Rangers and Hearts, may the best team win. Just do it in the 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Just look after us.
Gets up the road for Antiques Roadshow.
Not that we don't love our job and would happily stay here, but you know how it is.
No, just get us up the road.
Well, I think what's quite interesting looking at Rangers' initial setup, Mark, is Leon Balogun is the right centre back and not John Souttar. I suppose, is that just about only swapping one person? Then really you're not disrupting two positions?
I would say so. Balogun being right footed as well. You're asking someone who hasn't played a lot to go in there and play the left side. Souttar's got a bit of criticism as well, but I think John Souttar's a good player and he's fitted in there okay.
Good chance Rangers early on to make something happen. Cantwell just runs out of space. It's an interesting one, Gordon. I see the logic both ways. Maybe if you're John Souttar, maybe in your head you're thinking, when am I going to get the chance to play right centre back? But if he's been in the left side for X number of weeks, are you as well keeping him there and then literally just swapping Goldson for Balogun rather than disrupting?
If I'm honest, I thought Souttar would have started right centre back. Yeah, I thought he's maybe looking at Balogun's got good pace about him and he's a decent defender. Tavernier, we know, plays very high and leaves that space often because he comes in for a bit of criticism down that side. So maybe it's just thinking of Balogun's pace, to cover Tavernier a little bit.
We'd nearly had a goal by this time yesterday, had we not?
Yeah, it's just boring.
What are you waiting on?
Yeah.
Stop
Boring,
hanging around,
good.
please.
No, not a patching yesterday.
The goal flash button got a good going over yesterday, didn't
Brilliant,
it?
The sponsors must be happy.
There was no precedent for it. We decided to use it during the penalty shootout. Big chance into the box for Cyril Dessers. I assume it was cleared away by the Hearts defence, or did he get it
No, I think he just missed it.
that wrong?
Well, space for Sima on this right hand side. It's a fantastic ball. Dessers is on side.
He's got to do better.
He just
got to do better.
miscues that. He gets it all wrong on the volley, side footed. He just needs to redirect it. And does Kent do enough?
He directs it back to where it came from.
He's not positioning his body right for to take that ball as a centre forward. He's got to do better there. That's a great opportunity. I'll be a bit concerned about Hearts leaving that space down the left back position for Sima, and he puts in a terrific ball. I'd be disappointed if I was Dessers there.
Yes, no Alex Cochrane in the starting 11 for Hearts today, and you wonder if that could be a problem area, Mark, because for all he's had his criticism, I think we all know there's no doubt James Tavernier can get forward to good effect, and Abdallah Sima's involved today, and you're pacing the wings with Rabbi Matondo, and Hearts need to be careful.
Well, it was just a basic ball there, just a channel ball. Sima came short, spun in long, and he was in acres of space. It's a fantastic cross from him. And with Daz, I think Dessers, it's coming across to him on the volley. I think he just needs to redirect it with his side foot. I would say for the Hearts defender, just does enough does enough to put him
this
off, but
is-
still he's got to hit the
'Cause
target.
as much as he should do better, would it not be? It would be a heck of a finish if that went in, wouldn't it? I think so.
I would say so, but I think he still needs to redirect it goalwards instead of where he actually put it. It's a good
Chance
start
for
from
Todd
Rangers.
Cantwell, edge of the box, slips Dessers. He has wriggled away. We've got a goal already.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Just a minute or two behind yesterday.
Yeah.
Rangers 1, Hearts 0. We're up and running already, and you have to say Rangers started on the front foot, and you could almost sense it coming. It's Cyril Dessers. He might get stick for missing chances, but his goals tally is good, Gordon, and he's added to it again today.
Yeah, he came in for a little bit of criticism there, but I've got to say, when this ball arrives to him in the box, great refereeing, because Tavernier was claimed for a penalty. His first touch is brilliant, his second touch is even better. He just takes it away from the defender, puts on his left foot across the goalkeeper. Brilliant finish, absolutely brilliant for him. We keep saying about he needs a big goal. That could be the big goal for him.
Well, that's the game finished. So, Gordon Dale said if Hearts were to have any chance, they had to score the first goal. Well, they're a goal down inside the first 5 minutes. They're done for. And I was so.
Did you say that last weekend when Ross County conceded first? Will you ever learn your lesson?
No. I'm far too old to learn lessons now. But I was sorely tempted to go 4-0 Rangers, but I thought you'd all laugh at me. So I only went 3. But now I wish I'd gone 4.
I've got to say, Hugh, if I'm Stephen Naismith, I says, if you've got any chance, go on the front foot, get about Rangers. Hearts look a shambles already.
Yeah.
Defensively, we've seen the first chance, down the left hand side, they were all over the place. But I've got to say, give credit to the referee there. He could have easily blown that whistle for Tavernier because it looked like a free kick. Play on, and Rangers have punished
But
them.
Hearts, how slow were Hearts in responding?
Kingsley and Rolls there have an absolute shocker, because Kingsley tries the back heel first of all. Tavernier wins a tackle. Rolls is got it there in front of him to win it and goes in half-hearted enough to allow the ball to Cantwell. But by the way, Dessers, composure, good finish, and after just missing that chance moments before, it's a fantastic start for the Rangers front man.
He does really well. At the same time, he is kind of faced up by 3 Hearts defenders in the box. Can they do better? Is it Atkinson that sells himself a bit?
I think it's just desperation at that time. When Dessers is 8 yards out, I think you've got to throw your body in front of that. I think you've got to analyse what happened before that. If Stephen Naismith looks at that, I think he'll be hugely disappointed in his centre half there, Rolls, the way he comes out.
Yeah, but I think Dessers does absolutely brilliant. I take your point on board, Mark. If you're analysing it defensively, it's shocking. But Dessers is known for, if he's got time to think about it, he usually messes it up. He had time to think about that. He was composed, everything. He took on his left foot. Terrific for him. Great finish.
19th of the season for Cyril Dessers. This argument's just gone round and round, Mark, because last week, midweek, the Celtic game, the Rangers fans are saying, well, 19 is good, but he should have 19 for the number of chances we create. He really should have way more than that. He needs to stop missing big chances. So both, as we often say, can be true at the same time. 19 is a fine tally. In fact, sorry, it's 18, I think. But he does miss chances.
Well, of course he does, but show me a striker that doesn't miss chances. And I know some of his are a bit more gilt-edged or a bit more erratic finishes than your normal striker, or a striker that you would see in Morelos or Kyogo at Celtic. But still a good number he scored. So it's all about the number you end up at the end of the season.
I keep going back to it, Mark. I was very fortunate to play in that position. I'd rather miss 2-3 chances every game, knowing that I've got the chances, because one day they'll come. There's another chance here. Hearts are really struggling here.
Rangers do look at it though, don't they? As much as Hearts are not helping things, Rangers' intensity is miles above what it's been in the last 2 years.
They're at them. I think that the team talk that I was trying to give Stephen Naismith went into the Rangers dressing room, because Rangers look sharp. They're closing Hearts down. They're first to every ball, and they're causing problems.
I mean, they all live in this city. They know what's been said about them. They know the fans are disgusted with them, and this is what you have to expect of today. My concern for Hearts is that they are a million miles off it and could be embarrassed here.
Well, Craig Gordon is the man back in goal for Hearts today. Scottish Cup games are his schedule at the moment. I don't think he could have done much about Cyril Desser's early goal, it has to be said. It was fired low, it was fired with a bit of pace on it, and he couldn't really do much. And this is really the first time that we've seen Hearts in the Rangers half and they've lost it straight away. So it was short lived, and Cantwell is going to flight one to Matondo, and it's fortunate for Hearts that it's a bit wider. And then Rabbi Matondo does.
I know it's a big pitch, but come on.
Poor ball that from Cantwell though.
You almost have to expect that. Rangers fans know that. A couple of weeks ago, Rabbi Matondo cuts in and smashes one in the top corner, and there he runs it out of play. It's a mixed bag, I think is fair to say.
Yeah, we're just seeing the Rangers go back there, and you see, Desser's footwork in the box. He goes to shoot. I think the Hearts defender, if I'm honest, has to go in there and block the. They had to, because if he doesn't, and Desser's just puts it in.
I know. I am obviously defer to your expert knowledge over me. I just feel like Desser often fakes to shoot. He often chops. If anything, it's his downfall, because if anything, he does it too much. And I don't know, do you do that level of preparation?
No, I honestly think it's emergency defending at that point in the box. You're not thinking.
Is Atkinson not got two teammates to his left? So if the shot does come initially, they're also there to help.
Of course, but I don't even think in that split second you are thinking about it. I think you need to take it back to where Tavernier, once what rolls, goes in half-hearted, and that's how Rangers win that ball. It puts it through to Dessers. So I think that's the more guilty party. But Dessers, again, footwork, confidence.
That is a theme though. See, if you look back, he very often tries to chop, and sometimes that's what.
Analyse it any way you want. It's a terrific striker's goal. You've got to give credit to the striker. I'll tell you what, Hearts would probably want to go back in the dressing room and start this game again. They are a shambles. They're all over the place, and Rangers can smell blood here. They're closing them down, they're pressing them high. Hearts haven't strung two passes together.
Even Beningame there, strode out with the ball. He had lots of space in front of him. He just held on to it too long, got it taken off him.
Well, they look intimidated. No, they shouldn't be intimidated by the occasion. I mean, I know it's a semi-final, but they look intimidated by the opposition, not the occasion. And the Rangers are going to pick them off periodically.
Sometimes you get games like this and then it settles down. But
yeah, exactly.
We'll go back to the old cliche. I think the next goal is so important, because if Rangers had to get it, I'm with you, this could be anything.
I think even some sort of response from Hearts though, even a chance scored and something to give them a bit of belief. They've barely even been in the Rangers half. They just but here they are, to be fair, in the half for the first time, and there's a bit of space here if they can make it count
here.
And it's an awful option from Cammy Devlin. It was a simple opportunity. Hearts really had a spare man. Mark
overloading the wide area, worked it well, and all he had to do was pick that pass, and they were in the wide area, and he tries to go inside.
Mark, he doesn't even need to pick the pass. He can drive forward here. He can drive forward, because look, I think it's Matondo's backing off him.
Yeah, can commit Matondo before playing
commit him, then you've got a 2v1 situation. But Devlin looked like, he was so nervous to try and get the ball away.
Yeah, without doubt. That was the first time we've seen Hearts actually connect a couple of passes.
And what actually happened there, but look, it didn't come to anything, but in the detail managers go into now, if you're Philippe Clement, Mark, I'd imagine you'd be quite alarmed at how that could have opened up for Hearts. Who was not where they should have been.
I was going to say, I don't know how Devlin gets that amount of space, and I don't know why Matondo was back in that position.
I don't know where Sterling was. I don't know where he disappeared, but it was a 2v1 against Matondo, and they just panicked, and that's the problem with Hearts now. They're losing every ball.
They have lost it. They've been robbed. Dessers is in over the top. You wait to see if it's a late flag or not.
He certainly looked
a
long way offside. Well, those ones, I was going to say are obviously he's off. Yeah, he is off. But high line from Hearts. But if you lose possession like that, and you win the ball back high up, what you need is a striker to run in behind, and Desser's prepared to do that. It's going to be a change.
Ross McCausland coming on.
Oh, who's struggling then? Matondo
took that knock to the face.
Do you know what was when we saw that? When we saw the Matondo one back, he actually didn't. There wasn't much contact on his face. So no, I think it might be Sima.
Yeah.
McCausland start the semi-final, did he? Was he one of the ones that, or have I got that mixed up with the League Cup final against Aberdeen? I remember he played 45
What are you
minutes
asking
or so.
for?
McCausland, he played a game earlier on at Hampden.
He played the League Cup final.
Yeah.
Came off after 75 minutes.
For Scott Wright, who came on and kind of changed the game, didn't he?
Yeah, here's Hearts coming now, but
Here's a chance for Hearts eventually into the box, but you maybe wouldn't expect Todd Cantwell's tracking back to be a real feature.
there's no composure to Hearts. None so far. They need to settle down. I think they just think that, oh, hold on a minute, we're in a semi-final, and the nerves have got to them a little bit. They've got to calm themselves down.
See him holding his hamstring.
Yeah,
that looked like.
he's been glancing over at the bench. He's touching his left hamstring. It was a hamstring injury, wasn't it?
By the way, that's a blow, not only for today,
Of course,
but
there's
for
a
the
title race on.
Yeah, for the title race.
Is he? It was I'm sure it was a hamstring injury. Let me double check that ruled him out. I don't even know if it's the same one or whatever, but
I mean,
anyway.
he didn't go down, so you know
catch it early.
it kind of shows you that he knows right away what the injury is. No chance he's taking. Off you come, and that'll be an interesting one for Clermont and the medical team to keep their eye on.
He doesn't look in a huge amount of discomfort, Gordon. He's in fact he's kicking water bottles, so his hamstring
Yeah, he knows as a player.
no, but
you
I
know.
was going to say he doesn't look like that serious at this point.
Well,
no, it's maybe one that he's just felt the initial stages of it and knows because of his history to come off.
Yeah, I think where you take the positive is he walked off his cell. He didn't come on trainers and stretchers or getting helped
just off you go.
Off you go. So it might be it's obviously the right decision. There's no point playing on with that.
Yeah, I think he missed 13 games due to injury, didn't he, just after going away with Senegal in January. And there's no doubt it is a huge blow, as Mark Wilson says, not only for today but for this title race, which in case you hadn't heard is quite something at the moment.
Well, just worried when I saw the rain this morning, thinking about that game at Dens next Sunday. Must be in danger already.
Let's cross that bridge when we come to it. We've got enough on our plate this weekend. That looked good the other night, that pitch.
It's lovely. Celtic can loan them the covers again, can they not, to get it on?
Why is that not a free kick? He's just pulled his jersey nearly off him there.
Hearts probably hard done by there. Matondo did have a fistful. I have to say, Mark, we talk about this being a big pitch and it being hard to close down spaces. Aberdeen did it so well initially yesterday, and Rangers are really doing the same. I feel like every time a Hearts player has it, he doesn't have it for long.
Yeah, and that's what you have to do, especially in that middle area. Aberdeen, Barron and Povara, brilliant at it yesterday. But Rangers have started really well. Intensity, going after the ball. And also we caught a glimpse of Stephen Naismith's tactics. Rangers had the goal kick. They pressed them high up the pitch, but Rangers, showing their quality, managed to work it out. And that's what they'll be home for. I think they scored a similar goal at Tynecastle, was it? Where they played it to Tavernier and all the way through. It was similar to that just moments ago.
This is better from Hearts. They're knocking it better. Apart from the cross, but they're
actually getting territory now, aren't they?
Yeah, they're showing a wee bit composure with their passing.
It's a lovely flick. It just Devlin can't quite get in there ahead of John Lundstrom.
Good position from Lundstrom.
This is not meant to be unfair to Ross McCausland, but if we are describing it as a blow, ultimately is the cruel nature of football. If you're Hearts, you're quite happy to see Abdallah Sima limp off.
100%. And you're right, you're not being disrespectful to a young player, but
who might go and score and
I know that, but Sima is
good ball, that.
A top quality player. McCausland's still learning his trade, but get bags of ability.
Yeah, this is more like it.
Oh no, ref.
I was going to say it's more like it from Hearts. The assistant revs
you can't miss that if it's right in your toes.
Throw into Rangers. Is that? I think Balogun did a great job of appealing though.
They'll clap in the face. Well done, you made the right decision.
Saturday morning, amateur football everywhere. It's whoever appeals the best gets it. You're kind of hoping that at Cup semi-final with assistant referees that doesn't happen. But anyway, it's just a throw-in. Let's save our real condemnation for bigger decisions, which will probably follow because this is Scottish football and it's what we do. Well, do you know what? It's what everybody does. Talk me through Jack Grealish's handball last night.
Oh,
seriously,
how did they get away with that?
I don't know.
Astonishing. Did you see it?
No, I didn't.
A free kick.
On, former Man City legend.
Was it Palmer that took the free kick? Jack Grealish is in the wall. The wall sort of separates, and Grealish's arms is as wide as you can get, and it clearly comes off his arm. No penalty.
I didn't see it, unfortunately.
It's quite something.
Yeah.
And we always talk about number of cameras in the richest league in the world and blah blah blah. Here, Gordon Dale.
Let's see it.
And we look at it.
I mean, that's everyone can see it. Players, managers. That's a handball all day long.
No, his hands were at his side. Never apparently.
He's looking for an old gig in Man City TV.
He can look all he wants.
He's waited because I nipped him about the Celtic one.
He can look all he wants.
Oh, calm down.
Can you imagine it as they go through the list? Is Aguero available? Nah, he's
okay,
busy.
Gordon. I don't know if any user played.
Where's Yaya? Is Yaya? Where is he? Nah.
Dale's in the history books. Don't you worry about that. That's it. You can't take it away from you, Mark.
You've got it.
You can try all you want, but it's down there in black and white.
It's in black and white, all right. It was that long ago.
That's true. Faded away.
It's
Rangers have dropped off a little bit.
Yeah, I'm kind of
say Hearts have settled as well.
Yeah, terrific
I'm
start.
always wary of snap judgments when we're 20 minutes in, kind of either way. But Hearts needed it to be this way, didn't they? And then maybe Philippe Clement will be hoping the foot goes back on the gas.
Yeah, we'd hope so. They started well. They started pressing well. They had territory. They created two opportunities. One that they obviously took through Dessers, but Hearts have just gathered a wee bit of momentum. But
great
here
run,
comes Rangers.
Ross McCausland, they had a little pull back, but he managed to break free, and it's headed clear by Hearts. We are entering, every period of the game's crucial, but after that quick start, you did think Rangers would be pretty comfortable. Hearts look to have steadied themselves. Rangers have taken that blow with Sima going off. What are we going to be in for as we head towards the quarter point of the game, as Todd Cantwell just can't quite squeeze it through. Beningame he gets a free kick on that occasion, but he's overcooked it every time he's had the ball, Gordon. Credit to Rangers because they've got three men round him, but does he need to recognise that?
Yeah, and plus the fact he's not alone, let's be honest about it. But in the middle of the park, you've got to try and show a bit of composure, because you know you're going to get closed down very well. As much as Hearts have settled, right? If I'm Naismith and it's 22 minutes on the clock, Jack Butland has been a spectator. You've not even tested one ball into the box.
One goal kick. That's the touch he's had.
Picking the ball out the net aside, we've not really seen the other goal either.
I know that, but the difference is you can have the argument that Rangers are 1-1-0. I would like to see a wee bit more goal mouth action. Is that what they say?
I don't know. It's not a particularly obscure technical term.
Would you like to back me up with that one?
Who says that?
Me, there and now.
They.
That's what they say.
Yeah. I've heard them say that.
Yeah,
I think you're
all
spot
those
on with that.
people.
Let's go for goal mouth action.
It's doer. That we can just sum it up. It's doer at the moment.
It's even getting to Hugh.
Dropped off a little bit.
But look, this is taking the form that semi-finals usually take. You know, just pretty edgy. No team really going for it. No Rangers are one up, but they'll be happy just to be one up and allow Hearts to come after them. And they have got the players to pick Hearts off. Yesterday was just an exception to the rule.
One goal so far. I think we only had one about this stage yesterday. When did Nicholas Kuhn equalise? No, in fact, maybe
it was 1-1 by this time yesterday.
Fine, still time. Have faith. Let's see what extra drama we can get at the National Stadium. Stephen Naismith will be disappointed with the start. He'll be a bit more comfortable with the response in recent minutes. Hearts haven't conceded any more chances, really. They've at least got up the pitch, and it's a dreadful choice. That's why I'm surprised you had the temperament for it, but obvious ability aside, that's why I could never be a football manager. See, having to watch players make decisions like Kenneth Vargas there, where he's 35 yards from goal and he's got a teammate making a great overlapping run and he decides to drag one wide of the post. No.
Yeah.
I don't have the patience for that.
You're disappointed. Don't get me wrong. What you do is you get your wee notepad, you get your pen, you write it down, and if it's still 1-0 at half time, that's the man you go after.
Poor from Rangers though, they've given it away, and here is Alan Forrest. He's into the box, he's just run it a bit wide and it's squeezed out for a Hearts corner. Much better from Hearts. That's a big opportunity.
Sign of life. At last, a sign of life.
But it came from a Rangers mistake.
Yeah. Terrible ball from Lundstrom. Great from Forrest.
Really bad.
And by the way, he does well to drive past. I think it's an extra touch he takes.
He needs to hit it earlier, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's never scoring from the angle that he eventually takes it on. But just
let's try and square that back, can he? He's never beaten Butland from there. It'd need to be a mistake. But corner kick, chance to put a little bit of pressure
Haven't seen much of George Grant, should I admit. I forgot he was playing. He's crossed it in and it's headed away, I think by, is it Cyril Dess or no, James Tavernier, sorry. And Hearts, this is definitely much better. I'm not saying they've created loads, but it's much better. What a save! Jack Butland. He was named in PFA Scotland's team of the season yesterday, and it is not hard to see why. I think it was Frankie Kent, was it? Who was still up?
Yeah.
That is from 3 yards out. It is a great ball into the box.
Offside.
He might. Well, Jack Butland doesn't know that. It is a great save. Yes, it's at him. He still has to react. Gordon Dalziel and.
So you don't give an offside for that?
No.
Well, you don't now.
Do you not?
Well, you can't retrospectively.
You didn't see it. Obviously, the assistant ref.
Header goes over the bar. There would have been a nice argument.
Yeah,
If
but
If the goal goes in, of course,
you're
it would
goal goes in,
yeah. But
They
you're
get
right,
the
Gordon.
result
Jack
for him.
Butland's not to know that, but it was a good opportunity, good play from Hearts to start. Rangers have dropped off it. You know, they've actually changed their tactics. They were sharp, they were in about Hearts.
You always say this, and we had this argument yesterday. There's no way Rangers have changed their tactics. It's obviously just not clicking the way it was, or Hearts are doing something better.
Well, I think they're pressing a lot slower than they did at the beginning of the game.
But no way by choice, though. You said change their tactics. That's a choice. There is no way after the start Philippe Clement gets to 20 minutes and tells them to do something different.
I'm not saying Clement's telling them to do it. I'm saying they're doing it on the pitch.
Change the tactics does
Well,
sound
they
like a
changed the way
choice,
they're
though.
going pressing. If you want to argue over words, then feel free.
That's
on a
what we're here
Sunday.
for. It's a long day if we don't.
Well, I tell you what, I think it's just down to Hearts, gaining a bit more composure on the ball and just picking the right passes and working it in the right areas, keeping the pressure on when they had possession there, because they had an opportunity through Forrest. The corner comes out to Shanklin. Instead of a couple of wee passes, he decides to put it right back in top of that Rangers back four. So a good wee spell.
Is it too easy to point to the withdrawal of Abdallah Sima as being a key factor so far?
Well, I mean, he was involved in the opening
Todd
exchanges.
Cantwell might go into the book. He was late. Stephen McLean's doing the early. Well, I say early, it's 26 minutes gone, but he's just trying to let it flow. I don't think people mind too much as long as you're consistent, because at some point someone will put a tackle like that and get booked for it. At which point everybody says, why now? Do you know what? Maybe there's not as much. Maybe there's not as much contact as it looked on first viewing. We move on.
Yeah, well, certainly in the balance. I think when Rangers scored early on, I was probably like the guys thinking, "Oh, this is going to go one way." But with Hearts gaining that wee bit of composure, a couple of openings, they look like they can cause problems. But again, just come back to it. Rangers have got pace in wide areas. Even though Seema's off, they've got McCausland, Matondo, who's hardly touched the ball. Actually, he's on it now, but so deep. They need him to get on the ball further up the pitch to cause any problems. But they've always got that within them to open Hearts up.
Obviously we've got games to focus on. In fact, let's stay on that, because Ross McCausland's into the box. He's crowded out initially and then makes a poor decision.
Careful.
But then Hearts not really convincing in their attempt to clear, and Mark Wilson's right. Alan Forrest had to get that right, or he could have brought James Tavernier down for a penalty.
He was running the risk there. He looked like he hesitated, and then he outstretched his leg, but Tavernier got there first, but he managed to get a wee bit of contact on the ball.
And referees have a sense that starts to tingle, Mark, when you go chasing your own bad touch. How often does that end in a foul? They know it's like what they're looking for.
Be great to see the percentages of that first touches that lead to penalty kicks.
Just free kicks, even anywhere, fouls in the.
Try to compensate for your earlier mistake.
Maybe it's the exertions of Europe. I was going to say the difference in a few days where West Ham run the all-conquering Bayer Leverkusen close. They're now 3-0 down against Crystal Palace inside 20 minutes.
Well, they say that David Moyes is off at the end of the season, and
is he?
Well, that's what they're saying.
What job he's done there, though?
Did they not take a sore one a week or
They're
two
talking
ago?
about Thomas Tuchel leaving Bayern Munich
To come there?
to do West Ham.
Did you see Billy McKinley
Badger.
on the touchline? Did you see him the other night?
Sent off,
fighting and squaring up, and that way when you're from our part of the world you can lip read and you hear the accent. And let's just say I wouldn't have liked to get in his way at that moment in time. It was, I'll have
tell you what.
something like, I'll have you in a minute, you
Oh, the only thing is, he's got to back it up.
A penalty shout for Rangers there.
Yeah,
McCausland.
possibly. Yep, one to look at, I think.
Again, I thought that was a mistake from a Hearts player. He should have left it to Craig Gordon to come and get. He was almost chasing his mistake, and then he gets contact with McCausland, who goes down in the box. I'd need to see it back.
Yeah, there's no huge protests, but it will be looked at, you would imagine. So McCausland, Forrest, there's not much in that, is there?
No.
I don't think that's a penalty kick.
No.
Nah, on we go.
Nope.
It hit James. It was bound to happen at one point. Alan Forrest in the face, so the handball bit was clear, and I think him and McCausland, they both kind of had their foot at the same height, didn't they, Gordon? It was
I don't think there
what.
was anything in that, to be honest with you. It must be terrible for Alan. Do you think Alan Forrest goes in the house and goes to his mum and dad, I don't like my bra? The success he has.
Parents must be sick of going to Hampden all the time.
Yeah,
Hampden again.
Oh.
Well, here comes
Great
Razor.
run.
Great break. Diamande.
No, that's Matondo. Is it not?
McCausland's into the box and he lays it back. Tavernier shoots straight at Craig Gordon.
Well, the way things are going for Stevie Clark, he'll be hoping that Craig Gordon survives the full game.
Oh, don't. Did you see it? Stuart Armstrong?
Yeah, out for the season.
See how late it was
Is he
in
out
the
for
game?
season?
Yeah.
Thinking knee ligament is the fear. So that's no Euros.
Yeah, rough ride for the Scotland squad at the minute.
See how late it was in the game as well.
Yeah.
I don't know what I mean by that. It just seems harder to take. He nearly made it.
Well,
he nearly made it through.
Yeah, I think you're starting to get that concern that this becomes a fiasco, but given the talent we've already lost before the tournament begins.
And other Scotland players, I wonder if they're looking at those who have already fallen and thinking, oh, get me over the line.
Well, if you've nothing to play for, maybe it becomes easier, doesn't it?
Yeah, I suppose if you're like Cal McGregor and people like that, and John Suter or whatever in a real title race, you're focused on that.
John McGinn's going for Champions League places, and Andy Robertson's trying to do
European
things.
trophy for John McGinn, perhaps.
Davy Moyes will be away by the end of the day. It's 4-0 now for Crystal Palace.
Oh wow. Billy McKinley will not be happy.
Oh no.
Just when you spoke about the Forrest brothers, did you know that their sister also plays?
No,
Are you aware
didn't.
of this?
No, who did she play with?
Lisa plays for Glasgow City. Only
Don't tell
only
me she's a
17.
winger.
I think she is.
Oh
yeah.
my goodness.
Well, she came on against Rangers last week in a sort of
Wide area?
wide attacking role. Yeah,
Your mum and dad play football at any level,
I have no idea.
because that's an incredible
Yeah, it's a good
output from
return,
them.
isn't it?
Aye. Yeah, very good.
When they were young, the Christmas presents under a tree. Who's
Balls.
balls that? Whose balls that?
Balls and boots.
Aye.
It's a free. Is it a free kick or is it a drop ball? Todd Cantwell got like a finger in the face. To be
Finger in the
fair,
eye,
he says it's in the
is it?
eye, which can be a
Yeah,
bit of a sore one. As I think George Grant just tried to turn away from him. I don't know if he wears contact lenses, but that's a nightmare.
Is it?
Speaking from
Finger in the eye?
experience. Well, if you
Yeah,
might
contact.
lose
I
one.
think a finger in the eye without contact is
It's still
in it,
great,
to
yeah.
be
That
honest.
would be stingy. Aye.
Yeah.
It is just
You're
it is just a drop ball anyway.
Well, it's taking a wee bit of a lull, isn't it? The game.
Yeah.
Game's
both
dropped
ends.
off, Matt.
Yeah.
The pace of it's dropped off.
Yeah, there's-
But if you're Rangers, you're still happy. You're winning 1-0. So, as I say, next goal will be so important. Stephen Naismith just giving Devlin a bit of tactics there, is it? Or saying to him what you want for Messi strip.
I wonder where that
needed.
is.
Oh, that's well ahead.
I think he said before, did his parents take it or something? Like, it genuinely becomes a security risk, that, doesn't it? You
Oh,
can't have
fine.
people knowing
Oh, no.
where
It's
that
in your house.
where Lionel Messi's World Cup strip is that he went on to win in his final ever World Cup. And
I'd be honest, I'd have that on eBay right now. I'd be
no, but that's the point.
Wait
for the right moment.
Aye. It would be wasted on you. You wouldn't have the patience to
Nah,
see that out.
I'd sell it right away,
But
mate.
he'll probably sell it eventually.
I know,
and it'll fund him and his family's entire retirement.
But you're forgetting I'm a lot older than him.
You're impatient.
I'm going to live my life now. I'm
Yeah,
with
but
you.
without getting too deep into this hypothetical dream, you don't have, you need to be a bit younger to get the shirt. There is no way that you in your 60s
Never mind
is
younger,
going to swap
have more,
shirts.
have more ability.
Maybe I was
with
in the,
Lionel Messi.
maybe I was in the
level.
coaching staff when I asked.
Right, if you say so.
You know what I mean?
It could have been you. You went to Australia when football was just getting
Exactly.
popular over there, and you
I-
lasted a couple of weeks and came home in disgrace.
I took it to a new level
Oh,
in
you did.
Australia. Yeah.
And not the football though.
Oh yeah.
You took your behaviour to a new level.
Yeah. I'm well known over there. I'm probably more famous over there than MD knows me here.
Then
I was going to say
as he
famous, but I am famous.
scrambles around to find a character from Home and Away. I can't really remember any.
Alf.
No, in fact, of course, your
Alf
man,
was in Home
who's
and
he?
Away,
Looks
was he
like,
not?
again.
Oh, Big Lou Carpenter.
Lou Carpenter, that's the one. Spitting image.
I don't-
Absolute dead
you
right.
don't like that
I've
one,
got
do
to
you?
admit, right, you really annoy me today. That's why I'm standing right over in the corner.
No,
Calm down, Lou.
I know, but because we do this a lot on this show, people always want to tweet in and say that you lot look like certain people, but above them all, genuinely,
I don't look.
Lou's a good one.
Lou
Whoever
Carpenter
sent that
one
in.
is outrageously good for you. Look at him. Look at that
That's
face.
nonsense.
The hair, the skin tone, the facial
It's
expressions.
good.
Hugh,
It's
how
good.
it's uncanny.
But at
He's
least,
a handsome man.
at least
Lou.
that's a favourable comparison.
Here we go. Just get back to football.
I used to get Deirdre Barlow.
And Paul O'Grady.
Oh no, was it not the mum Blanche? Oh, a ball that is.
Yeah, it was. I think it was Blanche.
Yeah.
It was the mother.
Yeah.
Can you tell that the game's dropped off at Hampden?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Anyone?
There's a good wee chance
It's a
here.
great cross,
McCausland down the right hand side gets to a good ball in. I think he's going to be asking Dessers to go and attack that. I think that's a decent ball.
I think you're right. I think when you talk about strikers' movement, sometimes you've got to sense where the cross is going, and I think you've got to see that that's maybe been stood up to the back post, and if he does, he's got a tap in with a header at the back post.
Corner for Rangers, and there's the chance to really pick your moments. So we know that how important that is, because Rangers have dropped out of this a lot. Hearts would have been feeling better about themselves, but we all know that in a flash it can turn to two, and that really has a whole different look about the cup tie. So that will be the aim from this set piece. James Tavernier in the yellow boots this afternoon. He's going to in-swing one from the far side, but no, he's not.
Yeah,
He takes
he
it
is.
short. It's not like Rangers, is it?
One
But
off
they do have
old
a
training ground.
They do have a
Yeah,
poor.
it's- oh, they've
it's
worked on that.
It's a lovely set piece if he's onside.
I don't think he was on.
Well, no, he is. Flag stayed down. Oh no,
No.
so late these flags.
But that looked like it was worked upon. Hearts
Oh,
are a big
100%.
physical side.
And Rangers have been poor from set pieces, so they have to start coming up with
It's
something.
a nice little ball in as well. If they held their line, nice area. It's got to be.
That's a booking, is
It's
it?
got to be. That's got to be a foul. Beningame.
He's had a couple, Cantwell, hasn't he? The last one. No, I don't think that's a booking.
Free kick, and on we go. I think Stephen McLean's making it clear that
Last
that
one.
is the last one.
Yeah. To be fair, I thought that was good refereeing. When I looked at it first, I thought he might get a yellow because he's had a couple, but I thought that was good refereeing.
You know, Hearts look to try and make something happen from the resulting free kick. Just a long straight ball, always hard to make something happen, but Dessers isn't tidy enough, and I wonder if Hearts will get another free kick here. Instead they keep it, and that's much better from Beningame. That's excellent. We criticised him for overdoing it earlier, and Lawrence Shankland just clever. He knows he's not running past Diamande, flicks it off him, corner kick. And I wonder, is Steve McLean going to have a word with anyone else now?
Was it Lundstrom out and in?
Yeah, I thought
I've got
that was
to
a
say,
heavy one from
I've not
Lundstrom.
seen a lot of Shankland, and 37 minutes is Steve Clark.
And John Carver
Cameron,
watching on.
Move on. I don't know who the other guy is.
No, no offence.
Maybe just
Someone
a
will,
random.
though.
Yeah,
Someone
just
will.
a wee Jake or something for Hossel.
You know, going to be a corner. George Grant again looking to put one into the 6-yard box, and it's not fully clear, but then Rangers do. That would have been a heart and mouth moment for the Rangers fans. Hearts fans maybe getting a bit excited, and excellent scrapping from Cammy Devlin. He's up to Cyril Desser's waist.
Yeah,
But he
he's like
manages-
me, Scrappy Doo, Scooby Doo.
Manages to dig in and get it back.
He does well there. By the way, what a ball that is. It was a great corner kick. First contact from Hearts, and Cantwell found himself just in the right position to hook it away. Hearts could do with just building a wee bit of steam up here, put Rangers under pressure for the last couple of minutes.
What was your general role at defending corners at Celtic?
Me,
on a post?
No, we used to go two zonal, just either side of the penalty spot, just
You
to
were
try
one of
and
them, were you?
block. Yeah, I was one of those.
Do you know? Bad timing. I remember this because see, the other day I watched an old game, and you were sort of marking Lee McCulloch as he was running, and I thought, is that not a wee bit of a mismatch? You must have been trusted.
My job was to try and
Stop him.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, he was much more physical than I was.
See, who says I don't live a rock and roll lifestyle?
Yeah.
Watching old
Great
videos of
homework,
Mark
yeah.
Wilson defending.
Brilliant.
I'm beginning to
noticed
feel
that.
like the young rebel in here, having been out in the town last night.
You were partying. How was it?
Yeah, brilliant. Magnificent.
What was it you were at again?
A play.
The bar.
Yeah.
The bar. That's what he spoke. Oh yes, we went for red wine there. We went for.
No, it was white last night. Because
Oh, it was a white summer.
Oh, summer's in it.
temperature. I'm a temperature drinker.
What? It was a magnificent
You're
12
drinking any
degrees.
temperature.
It was a 12 degrees last night. So what was the play for anyone who's interested?
Hodding the Jackets
Uh-huh.
about my dear friend Tommy Gilmer, the boxing promoter,
Brilliant.
and the night on 1992 when Paddy Clinton won the world title at the Kelvin Hall.
Well, here come Rangers. They've not offered a lot recently, and it's a crunching tackle.
But
sore one
it's a
for all.
pile-up.
Referee's
3
given
players
it
down.
He's given a free kick. I actually thought Hearts got enough on the ball, but we need to see it back. You know, it looked heavy, it looked sore, because even Hearts players are down. But I need to get another look at it and see who the guilty party was. Yeah, it's actually late. Who do you if you had to book anyone, which one of them's getting it? Because Cochrane and Atkinson and Devlin, yeah, one of them has gone into the book.
I don't
Is
know.
it Devlin that's went in?
No.
No, because he's away. And
See, he's clever there.
he's got out the road.
Escape the scene of the crime.
Yeah,
Atkinson, you take the booking.
exactly.
Stephen Naismith has found something to complain about in that incident, which is, shows a vivid imagination.
I have to say, on first viewing, it was him. He got booked. It wasn't a player. It was Stephen Naismith. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he got booked for his complaints.
Oh well.
Well, it's an opportunity for James Tavernier because it's certainly in his territory.
It's the worst possible time to, if they were to lose a second goal, worst possible time. You're down that tunnel at half time knowing that you're done.
Because you wouldn't feel like you deserve to be 2 down either, with the way that the game recovered after the Rangers opener. How many times have we seen James Tavernier?
That's quite a distance. We spoke yesterday about one that.
Oh, it's a good bit closer than that one yesterday.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
okay. What are you looking at there? 18,
Look at the cuts in the grass.
25.
25
25?
at most, I would say.
Oh,
The only thing you would say is
18,
the opposite
yeah.
side. Will he reverse this or will he go in that big gap like
'Cause
Craig
look-
Gordon's left to his left hand side?
yeah. I see what you're coming from. There's absolutely no chance.
Miles over.
No chance.
Miles over from James Tavernier, and on we go.
I know he's great, but you ain't beating Craig Gordon from there. Not a chance.
Did they not score one earlier in the season? Was that Xander Clark that was in that day?
But nearer, I think. That
No, it was
18.
nearer. You're right.
Craig
funny
Gordon
thing
in
is
no
that-
rush here to take this for some
No.
reason.
Well, I mean, if Hearts go down the tunnel 1-0 at half time, they'll think, on the balance of play, that's not bad for us.
The
Look
balance
at-
of play
look-
they're going out
look at
Hugh,
Scottish
and
football
Craig
there.
Gordon.
I can't
Been a
believe
long
that.
time.
I cannot believe that for Scottish football.
What?
Every player goes over to one side for a kit. Surely
A goal
you've
kick?
got go and build from the back.
But what's worse?
Always have to pass
the
out from the
time
back.
Craig Gordon takes to take it, everybody goes over and Craig Gordon shells it at the pitch. What's your thinking behind that there? No idea.
Playing for time.
I've
Yeah.
got to say the game started brilliantly, but I'm not feeling the love for it now.
You know,
No.
Well, the goal yesterday had an opposite effect. Obviously, Aberdeen underdog scoring first. It kind of prompted, what happened next. This has had the opposite. Hearts not really had the quality to really take the game to Rangers for fear of them being picked off and it being 2 and it being a non-contest. So they're still a bit cagey and promoting bodies forward. And I think Rangers are quite happy with what they've got just now.
I was just going to
they'd
say
like
that, Mark. I think
Yeah.
you're right. I think
but a lot of what Rangers were good at the start's gone as well, hasn't it? They're not pressing as effectively as you said, Gordon. They have given it away a bit
The
more than
pace
they
of the
were.
game.
Yeah,
the Rangers come in
I
against
mean, look at that. Dear Mandy gives it so easily back to Devlin. It's a good job for him that Beningame wasn't tidy there either.
Rangers come in for a bit of stick. Ross County and Dundee, because of the pace and everything was laboured. They started brilliantly, got the goal. You're thinking, oh right, go for it now. But it's dropped off again to that pace. Is that down to the fact that Hearts have got tighter?
And then that structure's so wrong from Hearts, because Lawrence Shankland and Vargas try and press. A pass just goes straight into Lundstrom. He turns, passes to Cantwell, And then, as quick as you like, Rangers are at the edge of the box, but luckily for Hearts, Rabbi Matondo slips over.
I would address, if I was Naismith and getting it 1-0, I would address the situation with Cantwell. He's just floating in pockets and picking up good balls and causing a little bit of problem for Hearts. I think they've got to address that. And you look at Matondo, right? He'll probably go on and score 2 or 3. I think he's an impact player. I think he's a great sub. I think he's a kind you bring on 70 minutes, 60 minutes with that pace and drive and desire.
Who's holding down a place in the starting 11? That's the predicament for Philippe Clement. Do you just keep starting Fabio Silva because Matondo's good at coming off the bench?
No, you could have went Seema off the left and McCausland off the right. Look, I'm not picking the lad. I just think he's better impacted from the bench for me.
Free kick Rangers. It's an in-swinger, well defended by Hearts. They're going to have to do it again though. Stephen McLean has spotted something offside.
Yeah, Rangers forward went a bit too soon there. Now Craig Gordon, you think, a minute to go, he's went direct this time. Wee bit more urgency. Hearts needs to get bodies up though round about Vargas. He's the furthest forward. Shanklin just playing off him. If they played that way often this season, yeah, Shanklin just the one.
He likes to drop
change,
in.
yeah.
So we've had the Alan Forrest attempt to just too many touches on the ball, and we've had the good save from Jack Butland, and that's your lot for Hearts.
Well, the one Jack Butland wouldn't have counted anyway. He was a mile offside.
I don't know if he was a mile. I'd have liked to have still seen the lines, but I think you're right.
Offside.
Again, they've not. Look, the crucial thing is that Rangers are winning, but I don't think Philippe Clement will be happy with how much they've created.
No,
better from Hearts pressing there though, getting in and around Diamonde and Lundstrom.
Oh, it's a great tackle, Diamonde, and he robs Shankland, who is very deep to try and get on the ball.
Matondo's a man.
Yeah, Matondo's into the box. Here's a big chance for Rangers before the break. It's going to be a corner, I think. Well defended.
Atkinson get back there to make that last ditch tackle. I just thought Matondo was going to put his laces through that there, but he just allows Atkinson the chance to get back in. Yeah, takes his touch. Oh, he does well. Is he trying to square that there, Matondo?
I think he is, or if he tries to shoot, then he gets it completely all wrong.
Have you seen the clip of Ben Chilwell from yesterday where he should square it to, I can tell the blank looks, forget it. It's just gone viral.
I've seen that one.
Where it's just the most inexplicable decision to not square it as early as he should.
I was late on the game.
You think at that level. Anyway, James Tavernier, it's a big high loopy one, but it might still cause some danger because it's not fully clear, and Sterling heads it back across. Vargas will just boot it up into the Glasgow sky.
Well, Forrest may as well chase that. He's chased it for 40 yards. He may as well just chase Butland down.
I think did Lundstrom knee it
back?
I think he might have.
Well noticed.
So he might have just picked it up.
Yeah, that's it.
Half time. Here's Andrew Maclean.
Rangers 1, Hearts 0. The half-time score at Hampden. An early strike from Cyril Dessers is the difference between the sides as they make their way down the tunnel for the break. Rangers did start well here, and there was an early warning sign for Hearts. The ball played down to Abdallah Sima down the right wing. A really nice curled cross. Cyril Dessers got the contact on it but didn't get it right at all and put that one over the bar. He didn't have the composure there, really, did he, Cyril Dessers? But he did have it a few moments later. James Tavernier battling well to keep the ball moving forward for Rangers. Todd Cantwell got onto it. He found Dessers in the box. He had 3 Hearts players in front of him, but he just turned, chopped to his left and made that space for himself, and then fired low past Craig Gordon for the early opener. Abdallah Sima then had to come off with an early injury as well. It was a quick start for Rangers, much better than their displays in the last couple of games, but after that Hearts started to come into it a bit as well. John Lundstrom giving the ball away in his own half. That allowed Alan Forrest to drive into the Rangers box. It was quite a tight angle by the time he got his shot away towards the near post. Jack Butland dealt with it with his feet. Then a really, really good save from Jack Butland just moments afterwards. The ball played through to Frankie Kent, who found himself in the 6-yard box sliding in. He got a touch on it, but there was Jack Butland once again with his feet from point blank range to divert this one away for a corner. corner. Then at the other end, James Tavernier, he had a shot that was straight at Craig Gordon after a really good breakaway by Rabbi Matondo. And Rabbi Matondo, just at the end of the game there, he was played into the box by Todd Cantwell, but just couldn't get the shot away properly towards the end of the match. It has been cagey at times, but it is Philip Clement's side that do have the advantage going into the break. The half-time score, Rangers 1, Hearts 0.
The fastest goals, the expert opinions. This is Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard.
Half time at Hampden. Rangers lead Hearts by a Cyril Dessers goal to nil, an early Cyril Dessers goal to nil. 5 minutes on the clock when he received the ball, shimmied and fired low beyond Craig Gordon. Rangers started quickly, Hearts were asleep, and you wondered if Rangers would really press home their advantage and get out of sight quickly. It's not been the case though. It's 1-0 at the break, Hugh, and still very much an open cup tie.
Philippe Clement will be just a little twitchy, I think, because for all the domination, Rangers have only scored one goal, and it only takes a breakaway at the other end. Lawrence Shankland having what we'll describe as a quiet afternoon, in other words, he's rubbish. But Alan Forrest did go close, and Hearts just need that one break, and they could be level. But Philippe Clement is not in a position where he could take anything for granted as yet.
The only reason that the Rangers manager were the happier is because they're leading this cup tie, and that's the most important thing. We said it yesterday, it doesn't matter how you play, it's getting into the final game against Celtic. But Rangers got off to a terrific start, and I thought to myself, right, they've learned from Dundee, Ross County, they're on the front foot, they look sharp. Cantwell's in that, pockets of space, picking up good balls. It was him that obviously played down Dessers for the opening goal. 5 minutes, you're 1 up. Hearts looked like they were struggling, and then the game's completely died for me. Hearts have come in a little bit, they had the chance with Forrest, but you're never expecting them to beat Butland from that sort of angle. I'm looking for a wee bit better in the second half, a wee bit more quality from both sides. It's
been all bad news for Scotland international players recently getting injured all over the place. Scott McTominay though has put Man United 1 up against Coventry in the FA Cup. Mark, it's been a funny game. It's just sort of lacked that many chances either way, because you would say that Hearts haven't been that threatening, but goal aside, Rangers haven't really looked like scoring again either. No. And you can see Lawrence Shankland he was having a debate with some of his teammates on the way off. He feels like they've sort of lacked a cutting edge. There's just not been lots of attacking play.
No, when you look at the first 5 minutes, I think Rangers, like Daz described there, looked up for it, right at it, and they get their goal. Bear in mind they created that good Dessers chance just before it. Dessers scores, and you're thinking this is going one way. Hearts are struggling here, but Hearts gradually began to build themselves into the game. And if you're looking at them, there's not much between the sides at all.
Yeah, I know these are fairly basic match stats, and sometimes this can happen, but it's 60-40 Rangers favour possession wise. 6 shots to 5, both have had 2 on target, 2 corners to 3. It does kind of paint a picture of a game that doesn't have loads in it.
Yeah, and I just think both managers, I think in possession, the quality in possession, I think you see Shankland and Devlin going off the pitch here, and it looks like Shankland's saying to Devlin to pick the right option and just pass the ball. But I think lots of players on the pitch for both sides have been guilty of that, especially in that middle area. You look at Beningame, you look at Lundstrom, Diamonde, even Cantwell getting good positions, but the final pass has always been lacking.
That said, Gordon, whether it is mostly due to a low bar, Rangers have been much better than they were. If Philippe Clement, as much as he annoyed lots of people by saying Dundee was better than Ross County, well, this has been better than Dundee, hasn't it?
Yeah, especially the start. They got off to the perfect start. Clement would have been over the moon, asking for a reaction after the criticism of the last couple of games, and he certainly got that. And the man that we keep talking about, he's a mixed bag with the Rangers supporters. Dessers, he gets that important goal, and I give him all the credit in the world. I think it's a terrific piece of striking work from him. He takes a couple of touches in the box, feints to shoot, puts on his left foot, and gives Craig Gordon no chance. I think Rangers look comfortable, but just to secure it I think a second goal is needed. I keep saying it, next goal in this game's got to be so important. Hearts get it, it gives them so much confidence, but if Rangers get it, there's no chance Hearts are coming
basic
back.
assessment, Hugh, would be for 35 minutes this has been a very even half of football, but what Rangers did in the first 10 means it's not an even half of football because they have the lead.
Yeah, but I do think that the deeper we go into the game, if it's still 1-0, I would be slightly anxious if I were Philippe Clement. So the opening to the second half, very important. I mean, cast your mind back a week ago, 1-0 Rangers, and then at the start of the second half, the roof caved in.
The one downside would be the injury to Dalziel. Gordon, he lasted only 16 minutes. He's been out for a long time injured. He was touching his hamstring. It didn't look, he didn't have to get carried off or anything. It looked like he acknowledged a pain early on, but we'd have to wait and see what the rest of his season looks like.
It's certainly going to be a concern for the Rangers manager, because he's an important player for him. He's a big player for them. They were delighted to get him back. I think he maybe, hopefully for the boy, he's caught it at the right time. He didn't get any assistance coming off. He walked off. He was a bit disappointed. We've seen his reaction when he got to the touchline, so they'll need to assess that over the next couple of days.
Okay, second half from Hampden, where at the moment it sits Rangers 1, Hearts 0, is coming up next.
Scottish football's league leader. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Clyde One Super Scoreboard podcast with Lookers Audi. Hop by the Glasgow, Hamilton, Ayr, Stirling or Edinburgh Lookers Audi between the 25th and 29th of April to take advantage of enhanced offers on the fully electric range. Clyde One Super Scoreboard podcast with Lookers Audi. Hop by the Glasgow, Hamilton, Ayr, Stirling or Edinburgh Lookers Audi between the 25th and 29th of April to take advantage of enhanced offers on the fully electric range. Scottish football's league leader. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Teams back out at Hampden. I don't even think we're going to get the chance to go back to Andrew Maclean. That's how close we are to kick off, but I don't think there are any changes for either side. So let's get the second half underway at the National Stadium.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. From apprenticeships to pharmacy managers, start your career with them today.
Well, you wouldn't expect any changes, to be fair. It's not like it's been a disastrous half for either. Hugh, Rangers have been forced into one due to injury anyway, so on we go for the second half.
You just hope that the game gets an adrenaline rush. It's what Gordon Dalziel would describe as soporific at the moment. So we really need to get some lively action, particularly I think in front of Jack Butland. Hearts must be disappointed with how the game has progressed from their point of view.
Yeah, I'm looking for a different pace to the game in the second half. I think both managers would have maybe just had a word or two with one or two players. Wee bit composure from Hearts. Rangers seem to be mostly in control, but not really testing Craig Gordon as much as they would have liked, especially after a terrific start. So a bit better for both teams, I'm hoping, for the second half.
I know it's important that you get the final and never mind what it looked like. I understand all that, but the Rangers supporters, I think, will be looking for more.
Yeah, I suppose though at the same time, when you've had the week that they've had, it really becomes all about just avoiding disaster, doesn't it?
Well, they want to make a good start, and they almost did.
Well, they might have another chance too. I don't know if the flag would have gone up anyway, but Cyril Dessers, it almost broke his way, and away it comes. Hearts trying to get up the pitch a bit more. It's a great recovery tackle, but Shankland, he's way second favourite against a man he knows well in John Souttar.
Sterling does well there to sniff out the danger, because he sees Shankland eyeing up that crossfield pass to Vargas, who's isolated with Balogun, and he does enough to block that. But I agree with the guys, the quality doesn't match what we saw yesterday or the excitement, but listen, if it ends this way, I don't think Rangers fans or Philip Clement will look back at it and care that much. But if you're Stephen Naismith and you're sitting third in the league and you've nothing really else to play for, you're looking for more from your team going forward.
Oh, it's lovely from Todd Cantwell. Brings it down and finds Dessers. He can't find a teammate. I keep going back to the League Cup semi-final between the sides. Spoke to Lawrence Shankland during the week, Gordon. That's the one that he is annoyed at the most, because he feels like it sort of passed them by. You get different types of defeat. Rangers obviously hammered Hearts 5-0, but that one, Rangers weren't really at their best, but Hearts just didn't really do much, and it passed them by, and they were 3-0 down and they pulled one back, and it was too little too late. That's really what Hearts have to avoid this afternoon. We're now 47 minutes in. Rangers are not flying here. They're not absolutely battering Hearts. So if you're Hearts, can you not try and offer something of your own?
I'm disappointed the way Hearts are going about their business. I think they're laboured. You're right, Gordon. It's okay saying it passed us by the last time. Well, if that was the case, learn from it and try and do something. I said in the first half, Cantwell is playing in between the midfield and defenders. They've still not addressed that. He picked up another good ball there. He was unlucky with his pass, put a bit of pressure on the Hearts defence. I'm just struggling to find out, look at Hearts and say, where are they going to change this game?
They demand a 50-50 allocation of tickets, and people respond. They've got nearly 20,000 fans there. I mean, if I was a Hearts fan, I'd be wondering why I bothered.
They're not miles off it though, are they?
Oh, I think they are, Gordon.
Well, we just said we all just stood and said it was a pretty even first half.
Well, because Rangers started well and then fell away.
Right, but I see the point. I think we're in danger of acting like Hearts are 3-0 down here.
No, all it needs is one opportunity to spark them into life. But in the balance of play,
not much in the game.
There's not much in it. And even I agree with Daz that Cantwell's getting wee positions. However, he's never really used the ball well enough to then result in a serious problem for Hearts. But we saw how a game can change quickly yesterday. Stephen Naismith will be looking for a wee bit more, but again, from a set piece like they've got here,
corner to
something
Hearts
can spark.
Yeah, I think it was going to need something from a set play for Hearts. I'm looking at Shankland as well. I love Shankland as a player. Every time he's picking the ball up, he's nearly in his own half. Rangers would be delighted with that.
He's quite good at that though, isn't he? Linking up, we have to
he's
say.
a good player.
George Grant's ball comes in, it's a bit high and loopy, and it is really well defended.
Good header from Balogun right in the middle of his 6-yard box. It wasn't a great ball, but still you need to get height and distance on it. And look where Rangers are now, resulting from that.
No.
Well, it's a push, anyway. Foul from Dessers.
Do you know what? Every now and then, just when you think that we here are the football capital of sort of childish, quite cringy and embarrassing accusations of bias and so on, the ones where you think, oh come on, are we not all adults here? Have you seen Nottingham Forest's official statement today?
Well, they're blaming VAR, are they?
This is like something from an amateur league. Nottingham Forest, we're talking the biggest league in the world here. 3 extremely poor decisions, 3 penalties not given, which we simply cannot accept. That's how it starts.
Yeah.
We warned the PGMOL that the VAR is a Luton fan before the game, and they didn't change him. Our patience has been tested multiple times. NFFC will now consider its options. It's like you're raging anti on Facebook.
In
Come
fact,
on.
They're playing Everton, so if the guy's a Luton fan,
but because it's linked with the
Luton are
rally.
down the bottom of the table.
And this is, remember going back to here when we say, this is, we should have referees declare their allegiance, and then everyone gets the league table out and goes, okay, well, you can't referee him, they can't referee that team or that team or that team or that team.
Forrest not employed
Mark
Clattenburg
as a ref consultant.
So
when he's not doing gladiators.
well, he's obviously
he's not doing it on a Saturday.
His fingerprints are all over that.
Gladiators is finished now though, so he's got a bit
his
more
big
time.
foam fingerprint from Gladiator.
Wolves have got a wee history of that. They complain about VAR.
By the way, they've had some bad
Here we go. You're in.
Kenneth Vargas, he just takes too long and he tries to square it, and it's very importantly cut out in the 6-yard box by Rangers. That is Hearts' best opening of the game.
He's got to do better for me. He gets into a great position there. Good defending. Okay, we'll give the defenders a bit of credit, but when you get in of these positions in behind the Rangers back 4, you've got to put them under a bit of pressure with a decent ball.
Yeah, it's been few and far between. You've seen that sort of opening for Hearts, and Vargas has got serious pace. He gets in. I think he just delayed it. Just that saying, took another touch, and it allowed, was it Balogun to get in there and just cleared it?
And I think even once you get in that position, Mark, if you are unsure, if you can put the ball across with a bit of pace, it's one of them that it might come off Balogun and go in, but it ends up quite an easy flick of the outside of the boot for it to be cleared away.
So tentative. I think he was caught in a couple of minds there, and he does neither. And it's a let off for Rangers, because it certainly was a good opening.
It just looked like when he got in that position, he looked up, he didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Philip Clement must be getting twitchy now, because
I'll tell you what we didn't focus on is how poor it was from John Souttar. He's absolutely robbed of the ball by
James
Kenneth
Tavernier,
Vargas.
I think it gets in for the block.
George Grant with the free kick. This is much more like it from Hearts, and it's hacked away for a corner. It was I was going to say a bit ambitious from Vargas to try and chest it down to a teammate in the box, but it almost worked.
Yeah, and Lundstrom just in the right position, just to turn it behind there. Quick one.
Yeah, short corner. What can Hearts muster here? Maybe overcooked it. No, it is. It's kept in and scrambled, and that the ball is just pinballing around inside the box, and Rangers do get it half clear. This is much better from the Jambos.
Oh, a lot better from Hearts, putting a little bit of pressure on.
It's a poor ball though. It's going to go to Jack Butland.
Yeah, he's not got to catch up. But see if you go back to that original chance with Vargas. See if you watch, if he cuts it back to Shanklin, what a chance he's got. Shanklin keeps that in brilliantly, causes a little bit of panic in the Rangers defence.
Yeah, it's opening up a bit, which is good for the spectacle here. Dearie me.
Honestly,
Rabbi Matondo, the classic one where you try a back heel, but you back heel it off your standing leg and it just doesn't go where you want it to. Well, we've seen one of them.
he's as bad for Rangers today as Yang was for Celtic yesterday.
That's a great ball from Tavernier. Yeah, Dessers just couldn't get it under control, but forward thinking from Tavernier, gets the break of the ball, middle of the pitch, zipped into Dessers, who makes actually a good run. He takes that with the wrong foot.
Left. He's got to go with the left, Mark.
Yeah,
and cushion that with the left and flick it with the right.
Then once it's running out of play, should he not just twist his body and try and keep it in rather than trying to flash across, which he was never getting. Alan Forrest just out muscled, and I think he's offside as well. That's a frustration, isn't it, Gordon? Hearts play it forward and
but
Forrest's offside, but still doesn't beat Balogun to the ball.
No, Balogun's very strong, very pacey. I think Balogun's a good defender. I think it was the right choice today to bring him back in. But I think Hearts will be encouraged with the last 10 minutes here. I wouldn't be surprised if Rangers make a substitution.
Yeah, encouraging for Hearts, Hugh, and a reminder, although I'm not sure they would have needed it, to Rangers, that this is a close cup tie.
Yeah, as I say, the deeper we go into the game and it's still 1-0, although Rangers coming forward, possibly the
couple of fouls here. He gets away with that. I thought the first one was a foul on Cantwell, and the referee allowed play on. Maybe the second one was a bit of a body check, and
you kind of assume that it gets brought back, but I wonder if he'd let it go on long enough. Cantwell's giving the assistant referee a mouthful.
I keep saying about Cantwell picking up these balls in these positions.
He's possibly got a case.
Yeah, I know Mark says he's not doing a lot with it, but that's not the case. If he gets in there and it's one quality ball, it kills you. But getting back to Desser's opportunity, I think a bit of quality he's got to do better than that for me. Gets it all wrong, goes with the wrong foot.
Well, enjoying the cup tie now. It is a bit lively.
It's livening up, yeah.
Rangers 1, Hearts 0, but Hearts will be the happier with the opening 10 minutes to the second half.
For sure. Rangers are an enigma. They started so well, so confidently, goal in front after 5 minutes, and we can argue to and fro, but they're just not entertaining today.
You've seen that one back, Mark. Do you understand Todd Cantwell's frustration?
I thought the first one was a foul. I think he even had an argument that the second one was a foul as well. So it's surprising that the referee didn't give either. But Rangers, just gathering a bit of momentum, bit of possession, territory at the minute after Hearts had their best spell probably.
Yeah, it was a tenacious battle there. Cammy Devlin did so well to win it back, but he couldn't move away with it, and Lundstrom started another attack for Rangers, which Diamandi joined in on. Here's Rabbi Matondo. No. You've seen it in the last couple of weeks. Dances down the left, cuts in on that right foot. This one's halfway down Aikenhead Road though. Going to be a double change for Hearts, probably in both wide areas. Barry Mackay, who has scored a famous screamer for Rangers at this stadium is going to come on, and that'll be a welcome sign for the Hearts fans. I'm sure they've not been able to call on him very often this season.
Three changes
for Hearts,
yeah.
Oda's coming on as well, yeah.
Triple.
So you know what, I quite like that from Stephen Naismith. He's looking at the pattern of this game. He's not happy just to be still in it. He wants to go and get an equaliser and go on and take the game to Rangers. And with the way the game's going, yeah, Hearts may create a chance or two just now, but nothing's really happening. He needs something to dramatically change here to put more pressure on Rangers.
Yeah, I mean, Barry Mackay's had a really tough run of it. He got injured at the end of December and didn't play again until the 30th of March. He's made 3 appearances since. Maybe a chance. Hearts edge of the box. Shankland is just crowded out, and Hearts' speed of thought in those areas is maybe just letting them down. They have had openings, they've had opportunities. There's a bit of a flashpoint. Cammy Devlin's flown in with a tackle. It was late, it was heavy. I'm not sure it's quite as bad as the reaction that it's brought about. I'll have another look at it.
No, it's just a late challenge from Devlin, but just before that it was just a comedy errors from Rangers players, Hearts players, because Hearts win the ball back, then the pass is behind Shanklin, it's a slip from Tavernier, speed of thought then from Shanklin, not taking it quick enough.
Shanklin doesn't look sharp enough for me, but how many times down this left hand side in the second half is John Suter?
Lost a couple of times.
Yeah, he's got to be careful there.
I think we're going to see Fabio Silva at some point. You get that moment, Mark, it's your worst nightmare as a player. You smash one into the stand like Rabbi Matondo, and the manager just turns straight away and asks for a sub.
It's probably in his mind, but that just cements it. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's an unforgiving business. But anyway,
the thing is, how many times, well, a good couple of times we've seen Matondo dance inside. You said it, and I'm wondering why Atkinson has shown him in there, but maybe that's why. Forrest off. First change, Grant as well.
George Grant off, Forrest off, and Nathaniel Atkinson off. Barry Mackay, Dexter Lembakisa, and Yataro Oda on. So all like for like, really. Roughly, anyway.
Yeah, well,
fresh impetus. We'll call it fresh impetus, because Stephen Naismith must know that Rangers aren't at the best. The game has been a low-key affair. One decent coherent move from Hearts, an equaliser, and we are at the races.
You accept, Mark, you've been there as a so-called smaller team and an underdog. You accept that on these occasions the big teams can beat you. If they're better than you, you beat you. The worst ones must be when it gets to the end of the game and you think, they were there, they were there today. If we could have just salvaged a bit more out of our performance.
Without doubt, because I said before that you probably need Rangers and Celtic to play below their level, and you need to be right up there. Now I think Rangers are playing below their level. The problem is that Hearts aren't playing to their maximum level. They've been poor in situations as well, and not taking advantage of the moments that Rangers have slipped through Suter in this second half in particular. So if it does stay like this, or it gets worse for Hearts, Stephen Naismith will analyse it after that and kick themselves that they didn't take full advantage of this performance.
Yeah, it looks a cup tie that Hearts are very much in, but can they get the goal? If Rangers were to score again as this ticks down, it becomes a very, very difficult afternoon.
You just wonder when Rangers are making that sub, because Matondo down this flank is offering absolutely nothing so far. I said it earlier, I'm not been hard on the boy. I just think he's an impact player from the bench.
Well, Hearts have to show something. You know, that for all that we've talked about, 3 subs, fresh impetus, etc., Jack Butland is not being troubled.
I know, but the guys in front of him are quite a bit, it has to be said. And here goes Oda again, and he's in that box with John Suter. He can't pick out a teammate though, and Suter gives it straight back.
He's having a bit of a nightmare, Suter, in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, he really is.
Cantwell could interesting to see. He needs to be careful. He slid into a tackle there. Now I think Steve McLean had a look at that, but he's had 1 or 2. But Hearts have got a wee lift. The substitutions have given them a little bit of a lift.
Yeah,
they need a bit of quality.
Here's Lembakisa in a good crossing area. It's not a good ball though. Hearts have got down Rangers' left hand side about 5 times in the second half, and not once have they put a good ball in.
By the way, not once has Dujon Sterling been in that area either. Where's Dujon Sterling getting dragged to? Because he seems to disappear. Souters gave it away so many times, but the quality from Hearts has been so poor from that area.
Here is that Rangers change that we alluded to. Fabio Silva is going to replace Rabbi Matondo.
Not surprised.
Did you see that one coming?
No, not surprised. I'm not surprised. Honestly, I think the boy's got terrific pace. He's not a starter for me. He's a sub. You get players that are subs that come on and give you that lift, that spark, that pace, that cutting inside, terrific goal. But when you start them from the beginning, they're not for me.
It's never a tag you want, is it?
Super sub.
Good sub. Solskjaer made a career out of it, didn't he? Right enough.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Cantwell again.
He's certainly putting himself about, but
weirdly, I don't. For some reason, the Hearts players don't really seem to be complaining.
They're playing on. They've taken the throw in, and their players down the ground.
Cammy Devlin's down, writhing around in agony, but his teammates don't seem too fussed.
See if he gets up. Oh, there's a surprise. He's up. He's all right.
He's just thinking, I need to try and get that John Lundstrom jersey to put it next to Lionel Messi's.
Sell them two together. A double.
Well, Rangers, could do with just keeping the ball for a couple of minutes. They've been poor in possession. Got to say, really poor in possession.
Hearts have been the better side in the second half, haven't they?
Yeah, without doubt.
However, here come Rangers. Diamandi's got a shot at goal, but he flashes it wide.
I've got to say, see as much as Cantwell comes in for a bit, I think he's worked very well today. He's worked very hard for a team.
He just seems to think he has it.
It's a lovely turn from Lawrence Shankland. He's on the halfway line though. That's where he's done most of his good work. And then, if there is one limitation, I think we all know it, and people hammer it, it's pace to get away from someone in that occasion. Balogun just comes back and takes it off him after a great touch.
Yeah, I think he knows his limitations. I think that's why he has a real go. Was it Barry Mackay or Vargas? He has a real go at him, either to stand still or keep his width.
He's got to keep his width.
Shankland's got nobody outside him. He's never getting away from Balogun. He's got no option.
He runs inside and absolutely kills Shankland. Terrific bit of skill, great turn. I've got to say, I don't criticise him a lot, but I don't think he's looked at his best today. I think Cantwell's been terrific in these.
Is that not a really good turn from Shankland though? And then ultimately, you know the type of player he is. He's not going to sprint away from Balogun. Why is that a passage of play that leads you to remind us all that he's not looking sharp today?
But it was the one in the box when it fell to him. I see Shankland moving his feet quicker, taking the ball, causing problems. He looked very flat-footed for me.
Nice from Dujon Sterling. Goes back onto that left foot, which you might think is not the preferred option, but as a right footer who played left back, Mark, is it important to do that? Because ultimately it's
mixes things up.
Probably what the defence don't expect.
Yeah, and I think he does well there. I don't think it's a bad ball in to dig that out with your left foot. I think you'd be in your right to say to your attacking players,
go and attack it.
Go and attack it. You know what my weak foot is. You know roughly where I'm going to put it. But he does well. At least he takes Hearts the other way. I mean, he's done more there getting to the byline than Matondo did for 60 odd minutes.
If you're Philippe Clement and you assess 65 minutes, you're not impressed. I mean, he'll say it's a replay of Real Madrid and Eintracht, but you can't be impressed by that.
I like that there because we're back at the venue of Real Madrid Eintracht. I like what you did there. He's a historian of the game, this guy.
Did you tell us you were at that game?
Was that the Zidane goal?
No, 7-3. 7-3 for Real Madrid.
That was Bayer Leverkusen in the early 2000s.
Oh, was it?
40 years out.
Yeah,
Di Stefano.
Oh, there's a chance.
Nah, it's a heavy touch from Shankland. He's not going to be able to do much with it. Hasn't gone out though, but it's a throw in.
Just backed up my argument with Shankland there.
Yeah, but you do
not being as sharp as normal.
So what did you want him to do there?
I'm just giving him a lot of compliments in his overall play throughout the season. I think he's terrific. Today he's not looking that spark. He needs that spark.
And now a word from our podcast sponsor, Lookers Motor Group. They have Jaguar, Land Rover and Volvo showrooms across Glasgow and the West, so you can find the new or used approved car that is right for you. Land Rover showrooms can be found in Motherwell and Darnley, and Jaguar, Volvo and Land Rover showrooms found in Hillington. Right now at lookers.co.uk you can browse and shop 24/7, value your part exchange, order and take delivery from the comfort of your own home. Check out lookers.co.uk to get your new or used approved Land Rover, Jaguar or Volvo today, or even pop into the showroom local to you. Now, back to the podcast.
At 3 Business, we think you should get more for less. With our boundless business offer, the whole team gets unlimited calls, data and texts. And the more SIMs you buy, the more you'll save. All on the UK's fastest 5G network. That's what we call big value. Search 3 Business or visit us in store.
Unlimited in the UK, based on Ookla speed test intelligence data H1 2023. See 3.co.uk.
Well, they all need the spark. 66 minutes, still 1-0. A goal that was scored 61 minutes ago. So both teams need that spark.
I think Stephen Naismith will be relatively content though with the second half, will they not?
They're not great, obviously, but they are still in the cup tie. And that's why Philippe Clement will be thinking, come on now, let's have the second goal.
Second goal kills this game.
Yeah, of course,
kills it.
You'd have to think so, but it might be Hearts who have other ideas as Fabio Silva cuts in and finds his opposite winger, Ross McCausland. He's been quite quiet since he came on, but to be fair, his time on the pitch has sort of coincided with Rangers as a unit being quiet, because they were lively early on, but we've not really seen too much of it.
Yeah, those opening exchanges, it was Seema was getting in, for those opening 5-10 minutes. But the wide players of Rangers have been quiet today.
Oh, Sterling's done really well again. He's into the box.
What should he try? Catch out Craig Gordon.
He's lucky that Craig Gordon had to push it round for a corner, because it was a bizarre decision.
That was a dreadful decision. He does brilliant. Yeah, he tries to catch him out with the eyes. Watch this. He's done like he's.
Oh no! By the way, I actually don't think Craig Gordon has to touch it. I think it's just going to hit the side netting.
He's watched match of the day and saw the Arsenal goal against Wolves last night. Did you see that? Odegaard does pretty similar, but much better than that.
Well, you'd have to say so, yes. Corner Rangers though.
Well, as Gordon rightly said, should a goal come from this corner, then you can start to talk about my night out at the theatre last night and forget the game.
I'd rather talk about that than now.
Yeah, Tavernier has that left hand in the air, signalling his intentions. Although there's a bit of a delay. I don't know if Stephen Maclean.
It's another short one.
It's another training
Hearts not
ground
really
one.
putting anyone out there, so they're entitled to go short. Hearts are set up for the in-swinger.
Oh, they've worked out with Tavernier.
Yeah, maybe didn't quite come off.
Now they're in trouble.
Because Hearts are 4-on-3.
Now they're in trouble.
4-on-3 in Hearts' favour, but they've not made these count. Vargas is on the outside. He's in the box at a tight angle, and he just delays and delays the decision making. And he's giving it back to Rangers. Stephen Naismith has no hair, but if he did, he would be tearing that out, because that is a brilliant opportunity. 4v3, and it comes to absolutely nothing.
Dreadful. Absolutely. You can't describe that any other way. Dreadful. I've got to say, I need to look at that again. Could Barry Mackay just keep going with it and then commit? But even when he gives it to Vargas, he's got to do better than that.
I mean, a better opportunity than that may not come again between now and the end.
Dreadful.
It's just indecision from Vargas. Neither or. And it was similar before, where I'm in that wide area. Here comes Rangers now with Silva.
And then he gives it away. He's really poor in the final third from both teams at the moment.
Yeah, but Vargas, when he's got so many options, it's almost like he's got too many, and he doesn't decide any and then picks the wrong one, and Rangers off the hook because they were widely exposed there.
And see if the wrong option is to get your head down, put your foot through it and have a crack at goal. You'd almost forgive that a bit more, Mark, than
cutting it back and
doing nothing. Really, it's there's just no killer instinct at all from Hearts.
No.
And this could be it, because Dessers is in again, similar shooting position. And Craig Gordon can't get there. This is opening up for Silva, who curls it over the bar.
The lack of quality we're seeing in the final third for both teams is incredible, because Dessers there, You know, he's never really quite got it under control. Got to say, McCausland does well. It's a brilliant ball into him. He's always stumbling. Hearts players are desperate. Craig Gordon is desperate with his stretch. And then even Silver takes the wrong option there. Yeah, poor at either side from both teams.
I know we were spoiled yesterday. However, this is very, very poor.
I think it'd be a better game if they took the ball off.
Yeah.
Gotta say, at least Sterling's given his all
Yeah,
down
he's
this
been-
left hand
he's-
side for
he's-
Rangers.
he's doing
playing
okay.
3 positions.
And he's bulldozing past various defenders. This might be an opportunity as McCausland spins, but that's going to end up in the hands of Craig Gordon.
Dujon Sterling is playing like a man who described the team's performances with a 4-letter expletive.
No, 2 substitutions from
And
Hearts.
I thought you were going to say he's playing like a man who's Rangers' best defender, midfielder and attacker, depending on where he plays.
Yeah,
You'd be accurate
but
there, yeah.
he's the man who's justifying his decision to go public with his estimation of Rangers' performances of late, and he's showing that he will do something about it by way of compensation, but the rest, forget it.
Well, Hearts are nearly changed half of their team, so they're
Hold
looking
on,
for.
edge of the box. Oda fires it. It just
Deflected
goes
wide,
wide, deflected. That wasn't too far away. It was
Better
never-
from Oda. At least he made his mind up at the edge of the box here. He got it under control. He knew what he was doing. Got out his feet. It's a decent hit, and Suter blocks it. I'd be surprised if Vargas isn't one of these changes coming up.
Oh, 100%.
He's I was going to say he's run his race. He's just been.
Didn't start the race.
Oh, here's
and
another cramp.
Dujon Sterling is stretching off. It did look sort of like cramp. Let's see that double
Devlin
change
off.
for Hearts. Cammy Devlin is going to be replaced in the middle of the park. He has put in a shift.
Well, they might as well go for it. Change half the outfield. Yeah, by all means, because 1-0 down, 20 minutes to go. It could be there for you. An equaliser could be there for you.
And look, it doesn't matter, you're allowed to score at any time, but right now Stephen Naismith will be ruining the daftness of conceding that early goal, because from there on he'll feel like his team have been in the cup tie anyway. Tagawa and young Macaulay Tate coming on to replace Vargas and Devlin. Corner to Hearts. Barry Mackay with the outswinger to come. Here he goes, and it's a
Poor
sort
corner.
of near post delivery, but he gets a second go at it. Stands it up, might be a chance. Oh, and Shankland has hit the side netting. He's got to do better, Gordon. Back across goal.
Yeah, and Marcini's got to do better, because the quality we know that he possesses. He's just peeled off to the back. Mackay stood it up lovely for him. He's got a running and everything on it. I think that's poor from Shankland. I've said today, Gordon, look, I'm a Shankland fan. He's been off it. There's no doubt he's been off it today.
The only thing I would say, Mark, to maybe take back my suggestion about going back across goal, that's where all the bodies are. He's not getting that back across.
I think
goal.
he recognises that, but I just think the angle is then against him, because maybe Tavernier's blocking that near post, so he tries to be too cute with it. But I'm with that. He's got plenty of space. I would look at the Rangers.
Here we go.
Rangers backline and think, why would you leave Shankland unattended at the back post?
Beningame has had such a frustrating day. Sometimes he twists and turns and keeps it under pressure. I suppose when you're that type of player, Mark, you need to accept that you're not always going to keep it.
Yeah. He started like he was going to go under a bit, and then he steadied himself. But you're right, it's just such an important area where you're looking to keep possession, and he's been guilty of giving it away a lot, as has many of them in there.
Yeah, but here goes Diomande. He's into the box. His cross is really poor. It goes behind. If either team can come up with one real moment of quality, you suspect that's all it could take for Hearts to maybe turn this on its head, or for Rangers to put it to bed, Hugh.
The word quality is the most apposite of the day, because the one thing this occasion has lacked from start to finish is quality. Dessers took his goal well, but after that it has become one poor game.
Yeah, it's a dreadful game, I've got to say. It's just
Well, I'm going to focus on the positives.
Yeah,
We're privileged to get paid to watch these things.
I know,
I don't want
but
to keep
what I'm
hammering
gonna
the
say
point.
is-
We it's tense. It's exciting in that regard. I take the point. It's missing.
It's a classic semi-final
Exactly,
we're watching here.
that's
And
the
you look
point
at
I was going
the
to
FA
spoil
Cup
yesterday.
semi-final yesterday. Two great teams with billions of talent on the pitch. It's tense. Ends up 1-0, and this could be heading the same way. We just hope for some quality and some excitement in both penalty areas. We're not getting it at the minute, but there's still time.
It's going to be a tense finish, that is for sure.
It's a typical semi-final that will never be remembered.
Lembakisa does really well to get away from Silva initially, but Silva does recover, and then it's a kind of hopeful one from Lembakisa into the box. You know, the one where the right back checks back on his left foot and just swings.
That is hopeful. I've been there a million times, just hoping it'll fall to somebody. But by the way, Balogun very good at that. What you've just seen, the height and distance on his header, you know, never in two minds about trying to bring it down, doing his job.
The frustration for Philippe Clement, he's made that big call, he's left Connor Goldson out. It's John Souttar's looked the ropey one today, hasn't he?
Yeah. So what does he do then? Does he roll the dice again? Does he say, oh, yeah, Goldson was rested, never going to rest Souttar? Because Balogun looks assured today. I don't know, but if it sends clean sheet, he'd probably say, oh, I'm happy with that.
I think Cantwell's done well for Rangers today. I think he's picked up some good positions, been on the ball, fought his corner. I think he could be okay with his performance.
Yeah, well, we're in the 77th minute now, so the cup tie is very much in the balance. One more goal for Rangers, you'd have to say, kills it off. But Hearts must have a bit of a belief that this is there. It is there to try and spring something up the other end. They've had loads of moments, not really ended up in big chances as such, but that's due to bad decision making more than anything.
Well, where the belief meets reality is that they look as if they couldn't hit a barn door.
I don't even know if they're getting close enough to the door, Hugh. It's the bit before that, and here goes Todd Cantwell.
Oh, he's done well.
Twinkle toes, he lays it off to Cyril Desser's good save. Craig Gordon, but on the rebound, there we go.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
And that is probably the cup tie. It's a double from Cyril Dessers, a driving run from Todd Cantwell. Even then, Rangers looked like they were trying to pass up the opportunity, but it has hit the back of the net, and it's Rangers 2, Hearts 0.
When you see the Hearts players slump to the ground as they have done as soon as that ball went in, you know that they know the last 15 minutes of the game are redundant. Rangers will play Celtic in the cup final. It might not have been a dazzling display, that is for sure, but the job has been done and the day is over for Hearts.
I highlighted it was all about Cantwell.
Yeah, you did.
He's been excellent today. He's cost Hearts a lot of problems. Desser's composure, once again, he gets the benefit of the doubt, comes off Craig Gordon and he sticks it in the back of the net. Game over. And see if your Hearts, you're looking at that goal you've just lost to give you no chance, giving the ball away cheaply, like it was like schoolboy stuff for me.
You know what was good about Campbell out there? You know, he was decisive. He went at the Hearts. 3 players in front of him, he went at him and he held up the ball and he knocked it off to Dessers at the right time. We have been criticising Hearts for picking the wrong option. He picks the right option, and Dessers.
And how does the goal come about? Young Macaulay Tate gets it, steps in, looks like he's doing the right thing initially. He's driving forward, runs straight into a Rangers player who takes it off him, and Rangers go and score. This will be one of the... We said it earlier, if your Hearts, you turn up and Rangers are at it, they beat you 4-0, you hold your hands up, they'll be so frustrated at the part they've played in this today.
Oh yeah, I think Hearts have lacked a lot of quality today. I really do. And there's, for me, the man in the match getting taken off Cantwell. I think he's been excellent. But if you're Stephen Naismith, you're looking at a Rangers team that haven't come out and blown you away, but you've disappointed the fact you've not offered anything. When you get into good positions in the final third, your quality's so poor, you're not even putting the Rangers defence under pressure. That's where I'd be disappointed.
If Rangers had any manners, they would go ahead and score a third goal so that I would have a prediction right.
That's true, yeah, there is a chance there, Hugh Keevins, for you.
I'm out there running for the second day in a row.
I see Rangers probably putting another one by Hearts, because Hearts players will already know that this semi-final's gone. They've not got the character or anything to come back from that. I've got to say, I've looked at Hearts recently. Everybody's talking about them, quality players. I think they've been shocking.
Yeah. Well, it's their 5th defeat of the season to Rangers. 1 in the Viaplay Cup, This one, the Scottish Cup, and 3 league defeats, and probably defeat number 6 coming up in the post-split fixtures. So, is that good enough?
I mean, it is the way these fixtures should end. Ultimately, it's just the harsh reality of it.
Well, in that case, they're beating Celtic home and away.
So,
well, the harsh reality should be that Celtic beat Hearts every time.
Hold on, you misunderstand me. I'm not saying it's going to happen 100% of the time, but Rangers should beat Hearts almost every time they meet. So if that happens 5 times in a season, it's not ideal, but I don't think it's like a huge surprise. If they go into every one of those games as big favourites, how would that be a huge surprise?
How do we explain though the beating Celtic?
I just said it. I'm not guaranteeing that these things can never happen, but to answer the question rather than hit me with another one, if Hearts go into these games every time as big underdogs, how is it surprised that the underdogs don't win one of them?
It makes their standing as the third team in the land.
No, but it doesn't, because to be third you just need to be better than everyone else. But Rangers are second, so therefore they should beat Hearts.
I just think they're always going on about how big a club they are.
They are, but they're not as big as Rangers.
5 times, that's poor.
Okay. Anyway, 2-0 to Rangers with 82 minutes on the clock. Nicholas Raskin get into the book for that. Rest just at that stage where he just wants involved.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, it looks like he did go in the book.
Don't see much of Nicholas Raskin these days, Gordon.
Strange one that, because when he appeared at Ibrox, I think the Rangers fans took to him, had high hopes for him. I thought he got off to his Rangers career on the front foot, but he seems to have just, I don't know, did they have an injury and then obviously
he has had injuries, but he's not featured since the Benfica game.
He seems to be he's not in the starting 11 with Clement just now, so
he's even missed out on some match day squads recently though.
Yeah, so the gauntlet's thrown down to him just to go there and an opportunity. But once again, I would imagine Rangers could score another goal before this
Hearts in
game's
possession, and it's in some bad areas. It's almost been when they've been attacking, Mark. Hearts have actually done things right today. I know it doesn't sound like it, but they've taken the ball off Rangers enough, they've broken forward enough. It's what happens at that bit that it goes wrong. It's not like they've sat back and been battered by Rangers all day.
Yeah, but that's what separates the top teams from the rest. Your quality in the final third, and Hearts have been miles off it. Rangers have been poor in the final third, however they've still got the quality to convert twice, 2 chances. Hearts are miles off it, and that time it was Barry Mackay, a player we know who has quality, but he's just fed into what the rest before him have done today. Yeah, it's been a poor day overall.
I don't think Jack Baldwin's had a save, has he?
No, but again, that's what we're saying. That's because Hearts waste the opportunity in that final third.
It's not
that they've not got to the final third, it's that what they've done once they've got there. Anyway, chance for Rangers to put a gloss on it with Ross McCausland, corner.
Hearts men are losing 2-0 to Rangers. Hearts ladies are losing 3-0 to Celtic. So
not a good day if you're a Jambo.
It's proof of the country having.
Hearts players know this is gone. I think even Stephen Naismith standing the touchline will know this is gone.
It's proof of the country having the wrong capital city.
Borna Barisic was one of those that came on. He's going to take the corner. Don't know how much we'll see of him between now and the end of the season. Yilmaz would be expected to come back relatively soon, although we keep saying that and he doesn't appear.
Yeah, well, Rangers could be doing it, but you got to say Sterling's done okay. I did say that
second half today, done okay.
Yeah, at the back where those gaps started appearing, he wasn't quite there. But going forward and taking the game to Hearts in this left hand side, he's certainly done more than his winger in front of him, Matondo. Probably done more than Silva as well from a going forward point of view. But Barisic's time at the club definitely up, and he's been a good servant, but there's no doubt Yilmaz is a better option.
Rangers are going to just manage this game out, you would imagine. That we always talk about moments. It really has sucked the life out of Hearts, that goal, because they looked like they could get back in it, but the whole body language has changed. They're seeing a lot less of the ball now.
I told you, as soon as the ball hit the net for 2-0, they all fell to the ground. In other words, that's it, game's over, jigs up, and that's the way it is now. As I say, I'm only interested to see if I get a prediction right.
Well, you may well do. 5 of the 90. I don't recall too many stoppages, but we've had a lot of subs and so on, so we'll have a fair go at it after the 90's up.
Well, I think from a Rangers point of view, Philip, come on, we said it before, semi-finals all about getting the job done and getting through, and his team can maybe just take their foot off the gas here for the last couple of minutes and try and enjoy the occasion, stress off the shoulders, and they can look forward to a final. But I don't think they'll be analysing the performance or saying we were shocking today. Of course they'll say, oh, we would have liked to have done better.
We said yesterday was different, but we said it's just about getting through, didn't we?
Without doubt.
So now we have a climax to our season, which has 6 games, 2 of which will be Celtic Rangers, Rangers Celtic, 1 possibly for the league and 1 for the Scottish Cup. That's what you call tension.
Will it be a cup double but no league for Rangers? Will it be a treble? Unanswered questions. It's going to be quite the couple of weeks.
Starting next
Will it
Sunday.
be a double for Celtic? Of course, would be the third option there. Bruno Fernandes, if you care, has put Man United 3-0 up at Coventry in the cup, so that will be that. I think it was already, to be fair.
Yeah, Manchester Derby. Yeah, so it's a rerun of
last season.
Yeah, down south.
Get along to that, Dazzler. Get tickets for the City end.
Depends where I am.
Well, last year it was in the same day, wasn't it? In fact, did we even move their cup final last season?
That's right, yeah, we did. We moved to later on for the FA Cup. Yeah,
they don't think about guys like you. Don't think about guys like you that have got a foot in both camps.
Exactly. I used to love the FA Cup when I was younger. It was a highlight of my year, just sitting there watching.
What a rubbish year.
Of your year?
Look forward to it so much.
What was your favourite final?
The one Charlie George scored for Arsenal. Ooh. Remember that one?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Well, you weren't even born.
I know.
I think it was Arsenal because the telly was black and white. I couldn't tell the colour of the strip.
Oh, here we are. No.
Yes,
a hat trick for Dessers.
He must score. Oh my goodness. Silva went for a penalty.
Somebody's behind him. He's went down.
Cyril Dessers squares it to Fabio Silva. It's an open goal, 3 yards out, but the invisible sniper gets him.
I mean, by the way, well done, Dessers. I thought Dessers was going to shoot for a narrow angle. He's on a hat trick and he squares it. It's a brilliant ball back. Silva just needs to tap it in the net.
Silva should walk to the centre circle, wave to everybody, and walk off.
I was incredible.
Has he just been too far ahead of the ball and he's trying to slam on the brakes?
I think the ball was just behind him and he's tried to dig it out. That's the kind version.
Yeah.
How has he managed that?
That's one of those. Don't get me wrong, I've missed a bigger sit in the Scottish Cup semi-final.
I was too busy googling.
I
was too busy googling Charlie George FA Cup final 1971.
71 was it?
71.
Yeah, Charlie George, what a goal.
See, I get married.
Who get married?
I get married in 1971.
I thought you meant Charlie George.
No. A chance for Hearts to just try and do something, but Shanklin's the man that's standing it up. Then who's going to be the man arriving? Nobody is the answer.
Hearts have gone. They're finished.
Even before that ball gets to Shanklin, the ball to him is, again, it's an easy ball, a straight line ball for him to feed it across the front, and it's behind him, so he then has to dig it out.
Here's a chance.
Yeah, Hearts corner. Here we are. A big chance for Hearts. The touch. Oh, it's a great save, Jack Butland. That's the clearest chance Hearts have had. Oda let it come across his body, fired it right-footed from about the penalty spot, and that's when you know it's not your day, because here comes Tom Lawrence, who finds Cyril Dessers, and it goes wide of the post. Hearts have had their moments, Gordon. They've not taken them, and it is themselves to blame, basically.
Yeah,
that one's a good save from Jack Butland.
I think it's a poor finish.
Say again?
Yeah,
I think it's a poor finish.
The old
I agree with you.
Yeah, I think it's too central,
too near him.
Yeah, he does well. He dummies shooter, and then I think he puts it in the centre.
Yeah. He's got to find a corner.
You can almost roll that into a corner.
Find a corner.
Yeah, but
here's a Silva chancing. Dessers absolutely brilliant. Silva makes up the ground.
It's behind him, isn't it? That's why. I mean, it's still funny, but it's behind him. No, it's not.
I'm not sure.
I
don't know what he's done there.
He's gone for a penalty.
I would like to agree with you there, Gordon, but I've seen that again.
Yeah, it is behind him, but only because he decides to sort of don't know, throw his feet backwards or something.
He's actually dived instead of putting the ball in the goal.
You should disallow any other candidate for Howler of the weekend.
Good point. Yeah, we'll have to make that call tomorrow.
Nothing will top that.
Poor
How am
guy.
I supposed to get predictions right when you've got people like that?
Oh, that was incredible.
You'd like to show him that and say, talk me through what you were thinking there. Because you think, just roll it in the net.
I feel mine's is now the second worst miss in the semi-final.
That is. It's the hands that go up as well. That's what kind of gives it away.
Makes Peter Van Bossen look like Pele.
Awful from Silva. But job done from Rangers, and after a tough week and facing tough opposition in this, they've seen them off, set up a good final at the end of May.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like Rangers will see this one out. It has been a close second half. Hearts will definitely have regrets about this, but Rangers are going to win it comfortably on the scoreboard by the end of the afternoon.
I think I'll do a Philippe Clement. That's a moral win for me. You know that
you want a moral win for that?
Yeah, that should have been 3. I mean, it'd be wrong to.
There's still time, Hugh. Don't worry about it. It could be a breakaway here. But you can see the Hearts fans already left to go down the M8.
Okay.
They've had enough. No way back at all.
Barry Mackay's going to swing in a corner and try and just make something happen late on, but even that sums it up. Doesn't beat the first man. And even when they try and find him again, Rangers.
Here's the third
2-on-1. Is this it, Hugh?
No, Silva's got it. It'll come to nothing.
Is this
there?
Chance for a hat trick.
What did I tell you?
All right.
Go down.
Is this the Hugh Keevins prediction? No, it is not.
Fabio Silva has cost me. I mean, even Philippe Clement's looking at him as if they say,
"What's going on?"
Yeah. But what are you doing?
We wouldn't extend our howler of the week to south of the border, but see if you get the chance, just when all this is said and done, make sure you see highlights of Blackburn Sheffield Wednesday later. The Blackburn goalie for the first goal runs out 40 yards, tries to win a ball that's never his, gets lobbed and concedes, and then the ball gets rolled back to him and he slices it into his own net. 2 in one game. It is sensational. I appreciate we tend to focus north of the border, but you just make sure you check it out. You won't regret it. Here comes Ross McCausland to try and make it 3. He overruns it. Hearts just want the full-time whistle here. It's end to end. It's so open. Rangers don't really look like scoring again. Hearts certainly don't look like it.
Yeah, even Barry Mackay there taking the ball forward. It's almost like I'll just jog. Hope the whistle goes when I'm jogging here. I don't really want to sprint. No point. Yes.
One last chance.
Yeah. It's not all about your prediction, Hugh. I know that's hard for you to.
It is for me.
To understand.
I'm doing a Gordon Dale. This is all about me.
Exactly, Hugh.
It's absolute walking pace from Hearts now. Oh my word, this is awful. Every time either team gets it, they just give it straight back to the opposition. It's so stretched out, it's spread, it's got 10 seconds left, and you can tell complete walking football now from both teams. Neither really in the mood.
I think Hearts would be delighted for the whistle to go as well.
Yeah,
see Maclean looking at his watch. Can't be too far away now.
It's only 40
full time at Hampden. Andrew Maclean.
Rangers 2, Hearts 0. The full time score. Cyril Dessers double gets Philippe Clement's men back to winning ways, and they book their place in their second domestic cup final of the season. It hasn't been a good week for them, but they end it on a high here at Hampden. Cyril Dessers was the man of the day with his 2 goals. He put one over the bar in the first couple of minutes after an Adala-Sima cross from the right, but he made no mistake. 5 minutes into the game, Tavernier battling well to find Todd Cantwell. He fed it into the box for Dessers, who turned away from one Hearts defender, shifted it past another, and a nice low finish across Craig Gordon to make the most of their quick start and make it 1-0. Hearts then grew into it. After that, Alan Forrest capitalising on a John Lundstrom mistake. He drove into the box. Jack Butland saving that one at the near post. Then after that, Butland with a huge save. This one from Frankie Kent, who was sliding in at the 6-yard box. and it was Jack Butland with his feet who managed to direct it away from goal. Before half time it all started to get a real bit cagey, and it continued after the break as well. Some alright build-up play at times from both teams, but the quality in those crucial moments in the final third was just not there whatsoever. Dessers and Vargas at both ends just unable to make the most of openings where the teams were trying to get forward. There was no real big chances until Rangers eventually put the game to bed with 12 minutes left on the clock. A driving run from midfield by Todd Cantwell. He got into the box, played it to Cyril Dessers. His first shot was blocked, but the ball came back to him, shifted it onto his left, and then another cool finish this time round for his and Rangers' second. A bit of drama at both goal mouths towards the end. Jack Butland produced a big save to deny Yutaro Oda. A huge miss for Fabio Silva at the Rangers end, because he had all the time in the world, you thought, just to put the ball in the back of the net, but instead he just fell over under no real pressure, and then Cyril Dessers skewed a hat-trick chance wide at the other end as well. They saw the game out in the end, and it means Celtic and Rangers will meet in the Scottish Cup final for the first time since, quite amazingly, 2002. The full-time score here at Hampden: Rangers 2, Hearts 0.
Well, I'll have to say one thing to you. The teams who met in 2002 for Rangers and Celtic were miles ahead of the two who will meet in the 25th of May. But to focus on this afternoon, Rangers, moments of high farce, like Dessers, not Dessers, the Silva's miss. But Dessers get 2 goals. They're always on his back, but at least he get the 2 goals that mattered. Hearts, £40 a ticket per fan. I'd want my money back if I was a Hearts supporter, because you go, we trumpet the semi-final, the big occasion, the this, the that, the everything else, and Hearts turned up, had a look, and packed it in.
I mean, they were in it though, Mark. That's the thing. You get different levels. I get what Hugh's saying, because they didn't score and they didn't work Jack Butland enough, but that sort of brings its own frustration. They were very much in this. But we said it before, whether it's Hearts or Rangers, it's all about going through. That's what Rangers have done, largely thanks to Cyril Dessers.
Well, it is, and it's a player who's been huge pressure in his shoulders all year. He's had his critics on this show and elsewhere all year, but his goals return have been good, and we've said he needs some big goals to come along in his Rangers career, and he's failed to do it against Celtic, but he's done it here in the semi-final. He's grabbed all important 2 goals to send Rangers through to the final, because if you look at both teams, as bad as Hearts were, Rangers were equally as poor in the final third as well, and for large periods of that second half, Hearts were the team that maybe just edged it, but quality in both boxes were poor, apart from Dessers, who found that little bit of quality to win the game for Rangers.
I thought I sort of disagree with Mark saying that Hearts edged it. I thought Rangers cruised that today. They were only
in the second half.
Only got to be one winner in that full game. Hearts, every time they get in the final third, had no quality whatsoever. So you're up against it right away. You're looking at Rangers 1-0 up early on. I thought they started the game brilliantly. I thought it lacked a lot of quality, but semi-final, sometimes that happens. It's all about getting to that important final. I didn't look at that game at any point and think that Hearts were going to put Rangers under pressure, because in the final third, and a guy who will probably pick up Player of the Year, to see him even not as sharp as normal, I just didn't see where the threat was coming from.
Well, now it's over to you. 0141 951 1025. What did you make of that? Of course, you can get in touch about yesterday's game if you so wish, but we deal with the breaking story first, and that is that Rangers have beaten Hearts and they are through to the Scottish Cup final. So what did you make of it, Rangers fans? It is all about getting through. That's what everybody says. So is that the be all and end all? Was there anything in the performance you'd like to comment on? How do you feel about going into the final? It's been such a long time since these great rivals met in a Scottish Cup final. And all of the usual fun of the fair on the phones: 0141951 1025, and we'll get you on next. Give us a call.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard with Call Robert Accident Repair. They'll collect, repair and deliver your vehicle, providing a hassle-free service. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's Open Line.
Hugh Keevins, Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel are here for the second day in a row. They have poured over the Scottish Cup semi-final. A very different day today, but a similar outcome and that it's one of Glasgow's big two that is through to the final. Rangers joining Celtic. They'll meet at the end of the season after a much less busy afternoon, Hugh Keevins. But as we keep saying, and I warned you of this yesterday, we can't be hypocrites. There's one priority at the start of the day, that's to get through to the final. Philippe Clement's side have done that.
I fully understand that. I'm going to start by saying the league title is being contested, and the Scottish Cup final will be contested by two bang average football teams. Celtic and Rangers, yes, of course, they dominate in this country. They dominate everything about this country. They're the reason why we have a television contract which is worth as much as it is. But in their current state, Celtic and Rangers are bang average.
Yeah, I'm not sure loads would disagree, but we sort of are where we are. You know, we can't snap our fingers overnight. Let's deal with it. They're the two biggest teams in the country. They're the two best. They're going to meet in the final. That's supposed to be quite exciting. We do have an exciting title race. So
I would say that a couple of the games they've served up this season have been box office encounters with lots of quality in it. So let's hope that the game that they meet in a couple of weeks' time resembles that, and then the Scottish Cup final resembles that. It's an incredible way to finish our season. You know, a real title race on here with Celtic to host Rangers shortly, followed by the last game of the season at Hampden. And today, you're totally right, Gordon. I mean, performances, you need to put them out the window on semi-final day. Who cares how it plays out? We were treated to an absolute classic yesterday. This one always had the potential to be slightly below that. It was a long way below that, but Philippe Clement won't care one jot. The Rangers players won't care. All they care about is they're in the final, they are still in the running for a treble, and they'll just be looking forward to the next game. So they've put hearts to one side, they can concentrate on league business, and the Scottish Cup final will take care of itself when it comes round.
Yeah, I agree with Mark. I think it's all about getting to that final, especially when you know Celtic are sitting there waiting for you. The excitement of the league campaign as well adds to it. I think we've got a great end to the season. I've got to say, I think Rangers got to the final easier than Celtic, because for me, Hearts really offered nothing up. Every time they got into the final third, their quality was poor. Rangers done enough to get there. I'm delighted for Dessers. I think he's come in for a lot of criticism. We always said that he had to step up and score big goals. He's achieved that today. Get a brace, and he'll be absolutely delighted with that. And Rangers roll on now, and it's all about league campaign and then Scottish Cup final.
It's actually all about you having your say on this show between now and 6 o'clock. So 01419511025. Rangers fans, how good does it feel to be through to the final? I assume that was the priority today. What did you make of the game, the performance? There were big changes made to the team. How do you think they worked? How do you see this impacting the remainder of the season? Hearts fans, where did that go wrong for you? Was it one that you feel a bit of regret over? It's not like you were miles out of this game. Rangers didn't batter you. You had openings, you had the chance to make good opportunities, and it didn't quite come. So how does this one feel for you, Hearts fans? 01419511025. Paul's a Rangers fan to kick things off. What jumped out for you today, Paul?
Hi, Gordon. Thanks for letting me on today. Hi, delighted. No matter what the performance, I think based on the week we've had, it was just important we got into the final. So whatever we got there was going to be good. I think we controlled that. I agree with you. I think Rangers and Celtic aren't the greatest now, form wise, but things can. It's going to be a tight turn to the season and whatnot. But my point was about Balogun. I'm a big Balogun fan. I always have been, even at his first spell at the club, and I think it was refreshing that Clement had dropped Goldson, because I think Nolgaard are seriously got questions above them, and I put Tavernier, Goldson, Lundstrom, people like that in there. So I think Goldson needed dropped, to be honest, maybe even before this game. And he'd probably been dropped at Dundee if it wasn't for injury to Balogun. But I thought Balogun was outstanding. There was a challenge in there, if you remember, where I think Devlin was coming out and they just got the ball past him. And I just thought he controlled the central defence. And a shout out to Sterling as well, who I think, just asked a question about Barisic, and you've got an actual left back in the bench, and Sterling puts in a performance like that. I would have Sterling in there for the last few games of the season. I would have Balogun in there in front of Goldson as well. Suter to me is a liability. I go to Ibrox quite often and he's just got a mistake in him, and that worries me about the final against Celtic at Parkhead and at Hampden. Suter to me is a bit of a liability. So I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, the big talk before the game, Mark, was that change at the back. Connor Goldson out, Philippe Clement talking about freshness and all that stuff, but the headline remains it was a huge game, and for the first time since he joined the club he was left out and Leon Balogun was put in. How did it work?
Well, I think the decision has paid off. Now, you could look at Hearts and say they were poor, whatever. However, Balogun plays a part in that, I think. You know, we're talking about the player of the year up there for Hearts and Lauren Shankland. He was quiet. Balogun was always there and around him. But I think some of the balls that were crossed into the box, I mentioned during the game, Balogun, the height and distance he gets in some of those headed clearances, he looked like a more solid foundation. And I would put Sterling in and alongside him with that as well. I think Clement will stick with that. As for Suter, I can totally understand what Paul's saying. There was a couple of times in the second half he certainly gets caught in the ball, and Suter will always give you a chance, but I still think he is a better bet than Goldson. I think that may be the back four. If Yilmaz comes back, he will go in at left back if he's fit, but if he's not fit, that will be the back four for the remainder of the season, in my opinion.
Yeah, I thought Balogun brought that bit of strength and pace at the back for Rangers today. Suter second half get caught a couple of times down the left hand side. I thought, to be fair to Suter, I thought Suter at Dens Park played very well indeed. I can understand why some Rangers fans think that there's a mistake in him, but you've got to look at the positives today. It's a clean sheet as well. Clean sheet against Dundee with Goldson in there. I know what Mark's saying about the back four. I'm not too sure we've seen the end of Goldson. Maybe a couple of weeks out, you know, just sitting there watching.
Not long left on the season.
I know, but there's still a lot of important games to play. And I just would not write off Goldson now. I know the Rangers fans are delighted at the fact that Clement made that change today, and it certainly looked more positive with Suter and Balogun. But you remember not that long ago, Clement liked the partnership of Goldson and Balogun. That was his preferred partnership. So I wouldn't just write off Goldson.
I don't know. I think today had the look of a declaration from Philippe Clement, and the declaration was that he had found Goldson wanting. And you know, as you say, Gordon, only 6 games left. Balogun might just have claimed the jersey,
but maybe that will be alongside Goldson. Paul, what do you know, if you were, let's go hypothetically then, there's the cup finals tomorrow, based on what you've seen today and over the last couple of weeks, are you going Goldson and Balogun, or does Suter stay in?
No, I agree with what Gordon said. I like Goldson and Balogun at the start. See when I think Balogun got injured maybe, and that's how Suter came back in. And I'd been said to people at Ibrox, I was going to games saying, I can't wait till he changes this back again. I felt Rangers were stronger with Balogun and Goldson there. I think Suter's a good defence. I'm a punter, right? But he's just got a mistake in him every so often. I see him heading balls and I think, I don't know, I could head better than that sometimes. You know, I just think he's got a mistake in him, and it was proven today again. He was a bit of, I think second half he was lucky a few times, even though I was listening to the commentary there, McCoy was saying it as well, that it was a bit iffy. So I think against Celtic, I've watched him. He's open to a mistake happening. I think Goldson and Balogun are better centre backs. That's who I'd certainly have for the last few games. And maybe Goldson been out for a wee while. Maybe he's carrying an injury or something like that. I don't know. But listen, the guy's been a great servant to Rangers. I'm going to slate him and things like that. But it's just not been working for him, and maybe just getting dropped out a game or two might help. But certainly moving forward, I'd have Goldson and Balogun in the centre back. And I agree, if Yilmaz is back, I'd have him left back. If Yilmaz isn't back, I would certainly put Sterling ahead of Barisic. Barisic's an all liability, and I think he's just ticking down till he leaves the club, to be honest, you know. Were you worried at any point in that second half, Paul, that it was getting a bit tense, it was getting a bit close, or? Oh, definitely. I was texting my pal throughout the game saying we need this second goal. I had worried moments like against Ross County. I said at the time at Ross County, I said, you know, these fought Rangers for many years. They once death or misses and things like that. You think they're going to come back and haunt you. So I think that's that's the frustrating thing being a Rangers fan now, is we've had the Clement effect doing really well, but I feel we're sliding back into that where we score a goal and we seem to have a period of time, maybe 40, 50 minutes or whatnot, just chasing a game. All it takes is one shot. I mean, we've seen Hearts there, that crazy moment towards the end where it was 1-1 with Butland pulled off an incredible save. But if I'd went in, you'd have had your grandstand finish for 4 minutes there. So I think we've got to learn lessons, and we've got to blow teams away. I'm not saying that disrespectfully to Scottish League, I don't mean it like that, but listen, I've watched their rivals over the years, and they've done that. They've blown away teams in the first half 3-4-0 and it's over. We need to learn from that and do the same, because we're getting chances. Dessers, yep, we scored I think 19 goals or something like that this season, but it takes about 100 chances to score 2 goals, and it's frustrating watching it as a fan. He can score the most incredible goals with his feet. That first goal he scored today was brilliant, but you could put him in the 6-yard line and he would still miss it with no one round about him. So it's just frustrating sometimes, you know.
We keep coming back to it, Gordon. It's, you know, the performance is one thing. You're just trying to get through, and as you mentioned, I don't think it's not like we'll be sitting in May and talking about Rangers' performance in the semi-final. One way to make it easier for Paul and his pal who he was texting's heart rate is to not, if you're going to score 2 goals in a semi-final, try not to leave them 75 minutes apart or whatever they were. You know, it did have that feel for a while that maybe Hearts are going to get back into this, but a combination of Rangers then taking their chance and Hearts being a bit toothless.
Yeah, cup games always throw that scenario up, Gordon, when you've not killed the game off, because Rangers got off to the perfect start. I think Hearts a couple of times second half better, get any good opportunities, but the quality of their final ball was very poor indeed. I didn't sit here and look and think, oh, if Hearts get the next goal here, they could go and win this cup tie. I didn't think Hearts had the belief. I think Rangers done enough. You look at Dessers and everybody, no matter. Now there's a perfect example. Semi-final, he scores 2, and people still talk about, oh, he's got to have 4 or 5 chances before he scores 2. I'm not for that. At the end of the day, the lads put them in the semi-final. 2 good goals, took the first one terrifically well. He's there to score goals. Will he miss chances? Of course he'll miss chances. There's a guy on our TV screens now that's the top scorer ever at Rangers Football Club and missed a lot of chances, but knew where the back of net was, and that was important.
I think Cyril Dessers is as good as Ali McCoist.
No, just now probably. No. I think Coist just edged it.
Okay, just clearing that on.
By about 90%.
No, I mean now.
Just clearing that up. Thank you very much to Paul on the line. You can join him on 0141 951 1025. We will hear from the managers before we go today as well, Philippe Clement and Stephen Naismith, to find out how they felt that it went. I get this, Mark. I get what Gordon's saying, because no striker's going to score all their chances. Of course not. I still don't know if that's enough to absolve Cyril Dessers completely for his body of work this season. You can't argue with him today, but you can't pull the wool over the Rangers fans' eyes. In many ways, it doesn't matter what we think. Listen to them. They don't feel he scores enough of his chances.
Yeah, they don't have that overwhelming confidence in him. If there's one chance it falls to you in the game, that might be at Celtic Park. You might be up against it and one chance falls to you. I don't think Rangers fans would be ultra confident that he would put it away. However, today he's been the difference in the sides. He's walked off the pitch, man of the match, 2 goals.
Could have had a hat trick.
I thought he was really unselfish here with that one that Silva just fell over.
What genuinely was that? I mean, is he trying to dive? I've never seen any. I mean, why would you? So I don't really know.
I can't understand it. Only Silva.
Does he just? Is it something to do with trying to put the brakes on and then he? But he pulls his feet together.
He puts his feet together and his arms up, which
looked
like a dive.
Yeah,
let's be honest, it looked like a dive.
But then it's not like he's not claiming for anything, because how could you be?
It's just so bizarre. A player in that position, why you would choose or even have a thought in his mind to think I might have contact and grit. Just roll the ball in the net. So that's an odd one from Silva. Only he can explain it.
Dell is on the line. Dell, I think you've been on this season praising Cyril Dessers, so this is your time to shine. He's got 2 today. He's got you to a cup final. Take it away.
Thank you very much, buddy. Guys, how you doing?
All good, thank you.
Aye, so, listen, I'm not trying to gloat or anything like that, but I'm glad that it happened today. I'm glad Dessers had a good game. He deserved man of the match. He could have had a hat-trick, but he decided to play a pass. Right, but anyway, congratulations, Rangers. My club are in the final. We've got a chance of the treble. We've caught Celtic. Everything's always good. The past couple of weeks have been terrible. But that happens in the season in football, you know, in every league all over Europe. But I'm disappointed in Hugh, and I don't know if you can hear me, Hugh, but, you know, I'm disappointed.
I left the studio half an hour ago.
Right, okay, sir. What I was meaning to say was, you know, yesterday, I remember you saying that that in the entire history of the Scottish Cup, yesterday was the most dramatic and game that you've ever experienced in your entire life, all through the entire history of the Scottish Cup. And then today, when Rangers won 2-0, you said, and I just heard you about 10 minutes ago, you said that Rangers and Celtic are bang average, absolutely bang average. So my question to you, I'll finish with a question. My question to you is, if Rangers and Celtic are bang average after today's game, you didn't say that yesterday, mate, but after today's game you said they're bang average.
Dale, how have you turned this into some sort of Hughes favouring Celtic over Rangers thing? And I'll let you answer it, Hugh, but I'm surprised.
Well, I can only refer you, Dale. I'm not suggesting you have to run out and buy a newspaper, but I said it in this morning's newspaper before this game kicked off and after the game yesterday involving Celtic, that the league is being contested by two bang average teams, and I stand by every word. These are very average Rangers and Celtic teams, and yesterday you can still have a great game of football with a bang average team in it,
because sometimes that's what creates the excitement. They're fallible.
Celtic were so rubbish in defence yesterday, it made a game of it, because they lost a goal after 2 minutes falling asleep. They lost a goal in the last minute of regulation time to take the match into extra time, and then just to prove that they were rotten at the back, they then lost a goal in the last minute of extra time to take it to penalty kicks. So Celtic are bang average with a terrible defence, but were part of a classic cup tie yesterday against a team who were in the bottom six, and therefore they're bang average as well. But it was an outstanding, exciting, exhilarating cup tie, everything that today's wasn't. And today's, the job gets done. I'm all for Dessers getting the man of the match, because at least he showed up and got the 2 goals. But Rangers, like Celtic, Dell, are bang average.
In essence, Dell, all Hugh's saying was yesterday's game was more exciting than today's. I don't think we need to argue about that. That seems like the most pointless argument of all time. What did you make of your team's performance out with Cyril Dessers today?
I think it was just above bang average.
Yeah, you have to say so.
Well done, Dell.
It wasn't quite bang average, but what I will say is I'm glad for Cyril Dessers, and fair enough, you know, he misses a lot of chances, but he's got a decent scoring record. And I don't know if you remember, about 4 months ago I was on this show and I said that Cyril Dessers is going to win us the league. He's going to win us the cup as well, and he's going to win us the treble. I believe he's coming good, and listen, there's a cup final to come, and there's also the game at Parkhead. I think he'll score in that. I think we'll win at Parkhead. I believe that the Rangers team,
we're winning the Ballon d'Or next, Dale.
No, not quite. I'm not taking it that far. But what I'm trying to say is, I'm being consistent throughout the season. I see something in that player, and I believe our manager sees it as well. And listen, my hero, my all-time hero, is Alan McCoist. I've named my son after Alan McCoist. And Alan McCoist, at the start of his Rangers career, was similar to what Cyril Dessers is doing right now. He missed more chances. It took Alan McCoist 10 chances to score 1 goal, and look at what Alan McCoist went on and done. So I believe, and all I wanted to do was, I just wanted to say to Hugh, I've listened to you for 35, 36 years. I admire everything you've achieved in your career as a journalist. I believe in what you say. But earlier on, when you said that the Celtic and Rangers are bang average, I believe that while you're saying that, Hugh, what does that say for the rest of the league? You know, I think we should be on platforms like this to talk upper league. I think we should be saying, you know, we deserve more than we're getting for TV contracts and all that stuff. But journalists in positions like you are, Hugh, I think you should maybe just try and talk us up a wee bit. But saying things like buying average and all that, I don't see how that adds to your game.
From my perspective, I reserve the right to write in a newspaper or to say on this programme what I believe to be the case.
Dale's not saying you don't have the right to do it. He's just disagreeing with the sentiment. He's not saying you don't have the right.
I think he is.
No, he's not.
He's saying that my duty is to talk up the game. My duty is to talk up the game or talk it down if I feel it's necessary.
Yeah, but I suppose you would understand where Dale's coming from. Like, you're allowed to focus on the excitement of it, and it's exciting at the same time, and it's all close. It's kind of what we said yesterday. We're not having. How has today turned into debate about whether Celtic and Rangers are bang average? It's not the point. That's not today's story. We'll do it at some point if you feel strongly about it. But thank you to Dale. What a game, by the way. I know. I like to think our cup's the best cup. Man United were 3-0 up. 3-0 up at Coventry. And it is 3-3, and it is about to finish. Quite a day. Anyway, more of your calls next.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard with Call Robert Accident Repair. Fault and non-fault insurance specialist. Robert will even pay your excess. The games are over. The talking begins. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
The dust beginning to settle at Hampden then, where Rangers have beaten Hearts by 2 Cyril Dessers goals to 0 to secure their place in the Scottish Cup final. They will meet Celtic there after a dramatic afternoon against Aberdeen yesterday. You could look back on that on the phones if you wanted, but I suppose hot off the press, so to speak, is that Rangers result. So what did you make of it? What jumped out for you today? Good, bad, somewhere in between? Get all your thoughts over to us, please. That FA Cup tie between Coventry and Man United has now gone to extra time. Man United were 3-0 up before the hour mark, and it's finished 3-3. Scott McTominay kinda did his bit. He scored at least. That's me clinging on to any Scottish positivity in there, but it'll be an interesting finish to that one. Thomas is on the line now. Thomas is a Celtic fan, but he neutrally, well, no such thing I suppose in this city, but he observed the game today and he's got some observations for us. Thomas, tell us them.
I was shocked at Hearts' approach to the match. It took almost 70 minutes for Naismith to try and do something to affect the outcome. The quality of the player of the day I thought was terrible. The only player on the park I would have tried to watch was Diamande. I can't understand how Hearts can get to that level at that stage of competition and then show up like that. There was no reaction after half time. Nothing. I think the result today, Rangers getting to the final, was just going to paper all the cracks. They were vulnerable today. I know that guy scored 2 goals, but he should have had about 7. There's nothing in that Rangers strike force that would worry Celtic, even as bad as we played at the back yesterday. I understand there will be an out. People say, aye, but you're defence. If anybody knows Liam Scales' capabilities, it's Aberdeen. And they played it yesterday. There's no doubt about it. And no Celtic fan will say Greg Taylor is the best at the back post. Aye, we're susceptible, but the day I thought the quality on show for a semi-final was atrocious.
I think they're two different things though, Mark. When Thomas said Hearts' approach and then quality, and he kind of rolled them together, I don't think they're the same thing. I don't think there was anything wrong with Hearts' approach in the second half.
No.
But when they tried to approach it right, their lack of quality showed up. It feels like, I think those are different things.
But I thought Hearts were marginally better in the second half. Daz disagrees with me. I just thought they had a wee bit more about them, and they managed to work the ball into areas, whether that be from Suter giving up a couple of opportunities or through design themselves. It was when they got in those areas that just wrong decisions or no decisions in Vargas's case. And again, there wasn't much between the teams at all, apart from Dessers, who, I don't know why Dessers is getting started. I don't think Dessers missed 7 chances or anything like that. 2 opportunities or 3 opportunities No, sorry, 4. One he missed in the opening minutes, 2 he scored, and the other one he squared to Silva when Silva went down. That's what I'm remembering. So for that, I guess the intensity from Hearts might have disappointed Stephen Naismith. I thought, again, Rangers were below par, and I said before it, if you're going to win a semi-final against either Celtic or Rangers, you need Celtic or Rangers to play below par, and you need to take full advantage of that, and Hearts certainly didn't take full advantage.
I think Hearts should be embarrassed by the performance. I go back to the point, people are paying £40 per ticket. Nearly 20,000 people came from Edinburgh to watch Hearts, and they embarrassed themselves on the big occasion. And you know, for Stephen Naismith, I love to hear his post-match interview. You know, I hope it's not the usual platitudes trying to just tell us black as white.
Do you not think an embarrassment is like 5-6-0 though? I mean, we said it before, it wasn't a game high on quality, so don't confuse that statement. With 10 minutes to go, we're saying this is tense. Hearts could snatch something here, not because it was brilliant, but I just wonder if we're saying that with 10 minutes to go, how can it be as an embarrassment? That sounds very strong.
I think just general observation from the start of the match until the finish, their performance was totally inadequate.
No, but your general observation with 10 minutes to go was that Hearts could get into
this. They could nick it, yeah. One lucky minute.
But then a minute ago you just said from start to finish it was inadequate and embarrassing. So which was it? That's a contradiction.
No, I don't believe that it is necessarily a contradiction. Just one moment could have got them an equaliser, but the moment didn't materialise. And when it did for Oda, his finish was inadequate.
I've got to say, Hugh, I know what you're saying, right? But I never looked at that game and thought, my biggest problem with Hearts was, where is that one moment going to come from?
Yeah.
Because every time they get into an opportunity, the final ball was hopeless. You know, lack quality. And then Rangers got the part and punished them. You talk about players in the park today, and I don't know if people agree to me. I thought Cantwell was excellent today. I really did.
Yeah.
He lays on the 2 goals for Dessers. I thought he worked his shift. Now, some people are not big Cantwell fans because he gets caught up a little bit on the pitch. It's sometimes all about him. Today I thought he worked brilliantly for the team.
Yeah, I mean, Thomas, you said only Diomande was good and no one would strike fear into you as a Celtic fan. Did Todd Cantwell not have one of his better games?
Todd Cantwell was more suitable in Coronation Street than at Hampden. Believe me, he's embarrassing.
He was good today.
With all the antics, I really don't know how people can applaud that. That's bringing our game down, that all that diving, trying to get people booked and all that.
Did he dive today? What do you mean? What did he do today? What antics today?
Every time a player went near was going about the park. Surely you remember that. Claiming for things that just didn't happen.
I remember he got the poke in the eye or whatever. I mean, I'm not trying to catch you out. Jog your memory. What happened today that you felt aggrieved about? Just tell us what the example was.
Well, I can't remember what minutes they were on, but you can't.
I'm not asking what minute, but you know what I mean. Like, I don't know. Maybe it did, and I just can't remember it. Mark, you can.
Listen, Thomas, he might have a history of that. Today, I didn't really see it. I've got to agree with Daz in this one. I thought Cantwell took up some good spaces. I thought then his final ball was poor. However, I thought then he did get better as the game wore on, and that second goal comes from him and the difference between Vargas at one end of the pitch and Cantwell at the other. Cantwell was decisive. He drove at the Hearts back line and he picked the right pass at the right time, and that settles the game 2-0. So Cantwell, I thought, was the best player on show. No, I don't think I would agree with Diomande really standing out. I can't remember too much that he did, but I would agree with Daz in this one. Cantwell, probably him and Dessers were the pick of the bunch.
The first goal came from Cantwell as well. He plays Dessers in with a nice pass. I know it's a simple pass. I look at players that have come in for a lot of criticism, right? And I think you've got to give them a pat in the back when they stand up to it. I thought Dessers, brilliant for him today. His first finish is really, really good. I know that people label him with his chances. I can't be bothered with that. I thought Cantwell, sometimes not my favourite player to watch. I thought he was excellent today. He worked for a team, everything about it. He set up the 2 goals. He took up great positions.
He had one little period in the game where he was getting involved in tackles, and you thought he's going to end up with a booking.
Yeah, I did think that myself, Hugh, but he didn't.
I'm agreeing with you. But the Thomas is a Celtic supporter. The Celtic supporters dislike Cantwell, always have, and Cantwell's the whipping boy. But I think Thomas is overlooking the fact that he was, without question, Rangers' best player.
So you think Celtic win this final, Thomas?
For all the negative headlines that they're bringing, it's embarrassing.
What is?
They're diving about the park, they're rolling about the pitch, kidding on their injured, trying to get players booked and sent off. It's embarrassing.
Well,
I think when it comes around individually, everybody said Fabio Silva did too much of it at the Old Firm game. I think the Rangers fans said it. I'm trying to sort of move that, see what else we could discuss. Thomas is still on it, which is, I suppose, his.
Well, look, Cantwell,
I just didn't notice a particularly bad day for it today.
There was one wee moment in that second half. Cantwell, I thought, was fouled by Devlin. He stayed on his feet, and then I thought he was body checked, and the referee had a look at both of them and chose not to award any of them. I thought he was hard done by, actually, and he should have been awarded foul. So I didn't see too much of that from Cantwell. Listen, the Silva one, we've chatted about it. I don't know what Silva's thinking there, and if he has dived, which it certainly looked like to me, I wonder why he would dive.
Well, I keep watching. He's not claiming for anything, but you're right. It's certainly the action looks that way, but I don't know. I just don't get it. There's only one man who will know.
You'd have to get inside his head and ask him why he just didn't tap the ball in the net. So that's on Silva. And if Philippe Clement looks at that and thinks the same as I do, then he's every right to pull up his striker and say, listen, we're not a club that tolerates that, and I would have rather have finished the game 3-0 than 2-0 and looking for a penalty. So that's up to the Rangers manager to sort that out. But for the rest of it, I didn't see many Rangers players throwing themselves down.
I think Todd Cantwell needed if his impact, the one you feel he had, if that's shared by Philippe Clement, do you feel he needed that? It's been an up and down season for him.
Yeah, I think he needed a big game, because he was another one that was coming in for a bit of criticism from the Rangers supporters. We've always said his good ability. I've been very critical of Todd Cantwell in some games, but I've got to say, you've got to give credit when credit's due. You can't just keep picking on this. Well, he's diving about. Todd Cantwell wasn't diving about the ground today. I thought he was Rangers' best player. I give Dessers a lot of credit for 2 goals.
What do you make of Diomande? He was the only one Thomas gave pass marks to.
Diomande was okay for me with Lundstrom in the middle. I didn't say he was an outstanding performance. Rangers done enough to. I keep getting back to it. I know that Hearts had a little bit more possession second half, but they never had any quality in the final third that I was thinking, oh, Hearts are going to get right back into this game. I always thought Rangers were comfortable enough to get through in what you would call not an exciting semi-final.
To be fair, is that because you had kind of made your mind up about Hearts' quality, if that makes
probably,
sense? Like they still had opportunities that they should have made more of.
Yeah, but they're getting good positions that they just couldn't capitalise on at all. They couldn't get every time they picked the wrong choice, they made the wrong decision, and I thought they weren't sharp enough. You look at Shanklin, I didn't think he was on his toes sharp and burying things like he normally does. I just thought that Hearts were flat today.
Flat. How would you describe it, Hearts fans? Maybe you would agree with Hugh Keevins, embarrassing, because I think when you're a fan and you've got the emotion, it probably does feel that way. So if you want to put that across, we are here for you on 01419511025, and we'll hear from the managers next.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard with Call Robert Accident Repair. Accident not your fault? You'll be back on the road within 24 hours. After they play, you have your say. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's Open Line.
What a quick day this has been. We're into the final part. Hopefully we're going to hear from the managers very soon. I think we are on track to do that. Philippe Clement's been in the chair for about 10 minutes or so we should be all good to go. Hugh, I've found one along your lines. Graham, a Hearts fan, you do think it was embarrassing. Graham, what was embarrassing about it?
It was just the fact that the team didn't turn up. I don't know what it is with Rangers. It's been the same all season, but we just don't turn up to play against Rangers. We've done it against Celtic, and if you get beat 5-0 but the team turn up, you can take it. But today they certainly didn't. It definitely was embarrassing. We were saying the exact same thing in the car on the way out, and then Hugh said it, and then Hughes were disagreeing, saying it's so embarrassing because they get beat 2-0, but it feels embarrassing to us because.
And to be fair, I did acknowledge that before the break. I think when you're a fan, it maybe I can speak without the emotion, so I get that. If you feel embarrassed, I can't tell you any different. I'm giving the sort of neutral's perspective with Mark to say it doesn't look like a day to us where you go, oh, look at this embarrassing Hearts team. But you pay your money, you're entitled to feel that way. What was it about the decision making? Is that a pressure thing? Is it an occasion thing? Or has it been like that all season? I would assume not.
I just don't know what it is with Rangers. Some of the Hearts fans will say that it's because Naismith used to be a Rangers player and that's why we don't do it and it's a bias thing, but I don't believe that myself. It's just genuinely, I'm in disbelief. I don't know why we don't do it, but for some reason, every time it's came to us and Rangers this season, we just don't seem to turn up or try. Or I think it was 89 minutes before we had. The stats will tell you it was 3 shots on target, but for us there was 1 shot on target, and that Rangers were there for the taking. They get beat with Ross County, they drew with Dundee, and I was feeling optimistic. And then lo and behold, turns up to the game today, and just didn't happen. It was an utter letdown.
But this is the bit we specialise in this stuff, and I know Graham was sort of paraphrasing other people rather than offering it as his own. But when Kenneth Vargas is bursting into the box and he picks the wrong option, it's not got nothing to do with Stephen Naismith having played for Rangers. When Oda opens it up on his right foot and he's 10 yards out and all he needs to do is roll it into a corner, it's got nothing to do with Stephen Naismith playing for Rangers.
I'm sorry that I'm happy that Graham phoned in. I'm sorry he's going down that particular road because that's a Glasgow thing. That's the way we think here in Glasgow. But I'm not concerned with that. I'm concerned with Hearts' campaign for 50% of the tickets. We want our people there. And if ever there was a time to take on Rangers, it was today on the back of Dingwall and Dens Park. But the overall impression with 90 plus minutes of football was that for me, they didn't show up at all. They were redundant on the big day.
And it was our most important players, the players that have got them to third all season. Shankland's, Vargas has been good all season. Even look at Forrest when he was on the pitch. You know, all those players have scored goals and entertained the fans. But on the big stage at Hampden, where Rangers were poor, I've got to say the Rangers were poor and there were opportunities to be had, they couldn't make the most of it. So I totally get Graham's point. If you're a Hearts fan and you see that unfolding in front of you and you've watched it all season, Shankland's outstanding goals in the variety and Forrest being electric and Vargas scoring goals, and you're thinking, well, why can you not do it at this moment when we need it most? So I get the frustration. Every Hearts fan must be feeling the same at the minute because the quality was poor and Rangers did give up openings. You look at Suter a couple of times, you know, better decision making. And Hearts were right in there. And it's the opposite when Hearts gave up the couple of opportunities. Dessers was the man to punish him. That's the difference in the game. That was it for me.
I said at the beginning of the game, for Hearts to have any chance they had to score the first goal, I thought the belief went right out of them when Rangers scored after only 5 minutes. They were all over the place at the start. Their quality, they played a little bit better. I agree with Mark in that sense. They get a little bit more possession second half, but their quality, they done absolutely nothing with it. If I was a Hearts fan going down that M8 tonight, I know what Hugh's talking about, the price of tickets and all that, and that is very expensive now, and to go and support your team, I'd be highly disappointed in my team's efforts this afternoon.
£800,000 worth of tickets.
Yeah, and by the way, can I just say something? The Stephen Naismith playing with Rangers is absolutely nonsense, and I wish people would get away from all that. Stephen Naismith's a young manager that's trying to make his way in the game. He would have loved nothing better to enhance his reputation and beating Rangers in a semi-final and taking on Celtic in a final.
My day started in a ticket office at a railway station with Rangers fans telling me that Aberdeen lay down to Celtic yesterday, and now we've got the old one about Hearts don't try against Rangers. This is Planet Glasgow. That's the way it is. I'm confining myself to saying, if that was your best shot on the big occasion, do me a favour.
Can it be easier to take a battering, Graham?
Say that again, sorry.
Can it sometimes be easier to take a battering than the type of day you're describing, where like it kind of is there for the taking, but you don't do enough and it passes you by?
That's what you were saying before the game. I could understand if you go and you have a go and you get beat 5-0, which when we get beat 5-0 we didn't have a go, but if you go and you have a go and you get beat 5-0, you can take that, because at least you can say, well, we tried. But today and every single game against Rangers this season, we haven't tried, we haven't turned up. Shankland is a talisman, he is brilliant, he is a great player, but today, when he was losing the ball, he was shouting at everybody else and having a go at everybody else, and it's like, go and win the ball back. Why are you shouting at everybody else? Why are you blaming everybody else? Just go and win the ball back. Like, try and win the game, try and go for it. Like, there was a couple of times where he stopped and was shouting at everybody else, and then the ball went out of play. So, like, why are you bothering doing that? Just go for it and try and win the ball back rather than shouting at the team. It's just, I don't know, it's embarrassing and it is hard to take. I just don't understand why, for some reason, against Rangers, we just don't seem to try. I don't believe they're not trying, I don't mean that. I'm not saying that when it comes to Rangers, they go, oh, we don't try against Rangers, but for every other team in the league, we turn up. But for some reason, against Rangers, whether the tactics are wrong and the players are wrong, we just don't seem to contend the match. If you contend the match, you can take it. If you don't contend the match, then that's what's hard to take, and that's what's embarrassing.
Yeah, I get that. I suppose there's a counter argument which says, well, Rangers are better than all the other teams in the league, with the exception of Celtic, and I get that Hearts have done well in those fixtures. But here are the thoughts of Philippe Clement following that one.
I hear now that it's 22 years ago that it was a Scottish Cup final with the old firm, so I think it will be a big rush for tickets. Pleasing is maybe not a good word. It's what I expected, it's what I demanded, it's what I wanted, it's what I knew I would get of the team also. I was totally not pleased about Ross County, about the game, where we lost our structure, where we lost our normal football. Against Dundee, we were too much in a rush to score the goal. Today we found the right balance again. What we've been doing for a lot of months, but it's been challenging last couple of months with all the injuries and players in and out and lacking rhythm also. Today again, if you see the bench, it's stronger again. So that's going to be important. The next couple of weeks we will have one game a week. We were, before this cup semi-final, the only team who played during the week. It makes a difference, because you need to look at that. If you have 3 games in 7-8 days and you have players coming out of injury, you cannot let them play all the minutes. So it's been a puzzle around that. In this last part of the season, it's going to be a really challenge in the squad with players coming back, that the quality rises in the training and that the quality rises in the game also, because you have a strong bench.
That is the bit we've got to look forward to, Hugh. I know obviously Rangers have had a fairly disappointing period in terms of domestic success and so on, but still 22 years since these sides met in a Scottish Cup final. You would think it happened all the time here. 22 years.
Yeah, for teams who are so dominant, the only 2 teams in the country that have a chance of winning things as a rule. 22 years.
That would tell you not the cups, to be fair. There has been a bit of a spread, but
22 years is an astonishing length of time to be apart. But we now have a climax to the season, which is off the scale. We have the 2 of them going for the league title, and the 2 of them going for the cup. We have one going for a double, they hope, and another one going for a treble, they hope. And I think Clement chose his words carefully today, and his start to the conversation there was entirely appropriate. It was what I expected, demanded and wanted, he said. And we can go on all day about the quality of the game, but Dessers got the goals that mattered. Dessers was one of the men who mattered, along with Cantwell, and what he expected, demanded and wanted, he got from Dessers and Cantwell.
Because I suppose, Gordon, it was against the backdrop of what happened last Sunday and on Wednesday. We talk about cup semi-finals sort of existing on their own and it all just been about getting through to the final. We've said that a lot, but I suppose you can't ignore what's gone before. When Rangers go out of any semi-final, there would be criticism. Can you imagine they'd gone out of this one on the back of those last two results? So I suppose that just highlighted what the main job was today.
Yeah, I think since the manager walked into the building, it's the first time probably at 3 o'clock this afternoon he felt a little bit of pressure. I know that the Rangers fans love him and it's not his team and he's got to tune out them, but if you're a winner and you want to go and win things and you know that Celtic are in the final, that was a pressure game for Rangers today, and he'll be delighted to get over the line. Look, he'll analyse it, he'll look at different ways of changing it, maybe sharpen up a little bit. I just think these team, as much as Hearts had a little bit better in the second half, Rangers always looked like they were the ones that were going to get into the cup final. It was a big result for them, and as Hugh quite rightly says, we've got a brilliant end to the season.
Yeah, because Mark, Rangers were supposed to be fragile. You would understand that going into today. So I suppose starting well, getting in front, and then ultimately coming through it is the response to that.
Well, I think that's the positives Philippe Clement can take. Getting into the final and looking like they have a solid foundation, that is the positives. But semi-finals, it's all about getting to the final, and Rangers are there. And what we've got now is 5 weeks of ups and downs culminating in a first Scottish Cup final between these two in 2 decades. It's going to be a remarkable end to this season.
I always say this show is unmissable. I would say that. I'm biased, I have to be, but really, think about it. Between now and the end of the season, we're going to go straight into the post-split fixtures. The title race will be decided between Glasgow's big two. Who'll be relegated, who'll make the European places, who'll win the Scottish Cup, because those famous rivals will meet again, as we now know, after a dramatic weekend. An unbelievable day at Hampden yesterday saw Celtic go through in penalties, and Rangers responded today. You're going to have to get it in your diary. Set a reminder every night, 6 o'clock, starting again tomorrow. We will be here. We look forward to it. And Hits UK chart with Sam Thompson's up next.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast with Lookers Audi. Hop by the Glasgow, Hamilton, Ayr, Stirling or Edinburgh Lookers Audi between the 25th and 29th of April to take advantage of enhanced offers on the fully electric range.